Hello friends, happy Friday and welcome to some NECC Collegiate Overwatch. It is time for Nationals. We have gotten both semesters out of the way, all culminating into this final 2 weeks of play leading up to our main event happening in San Antonio here in 2 weeks. My name is Jeff, here with Sam for another wonderful Friday night full of Overwatch action. What are we kicking off with here tonight, Sam? What do we got?
I mean, we've got quite an interesting one. We're used to seeing your Div 1s, 2s. We're starting off in D5 today, Jeff. So we're going to be checking out College, a team that we've seen a little bit around here in NECC, and the Carthage Firebirds Black, the coming in at the number 3 here in the Div 5, and Carthage at the 13 seed. So on paper, should be a clear winner here in the College, but like we kind of alluded to, this is D5. This is not the home of top tier mechanics. This is kind of that realm where teams and teamwork really make the difference. One set strat could just carry the day.
Yeah. We'll see who's got it today. Hey, before we get into our game, our games here would not be possible without our friends over at Wenzel Farms. Fuel your game with Wenzel's Farm Sticks. No mess, no distractions, just bold, protein-packed flavor. Keep you locked in whether you're grinding ranked or leading the squad. Wenzel's keeps you powered up. Grab a stick, stay in the game, crush the competition. Wenzel's Farm. Fuel for gamers, flavor for champions. And we're here to crown some champions tonight, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, this is that long road to those nationals. Like you said, D1 are going to be happening in San Antonio. The rest of them will be online, and we're going to check out more of those other divisions, including tonight and the next coming weeks. But like you said, there's a lot of champions to be crowned, and they have to start somewhere. And, what better way would be to start with an upset from the Carthage Firebirds Black, considering they are playing a little bit of behind their regular season, maybe not the greatest, enough to qualify in the 16. But, for College, they came at a 3rd seed. They did well into their playoffs. So, on paper, we have a pretty easy, to dissect 3 versus 14. But I don't write anything off, Jeff.
Not at all. I mean, definitely, the Firebirds are going to be your underdogs coming into this one. But anything can happen here. We know they've got the synergy. They're all rocking the Atlanta Reign icons. I love the team representation. I love the teamwork. Everybody getting on the same page. Take a look at our rosters coming into this. And some of these co-college names are names that I've seen around for the collegiate scene here for a couple of years. And so I think not only will Firebirds be hungry for an upset, but I think Co could be hungry to try to push their way up into D4.
Yeah, that is, like you had said, this is kind of a squad we'd seen around between Eric the Red, Dawnbreak, and Railgun. I know I've seen those names before, and I was kind of shocked when I looked and seen, I mean, even from Carthage as well, but like the College squad in particular, I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh, we're in D5. I've seen these names around. Are they really, this D5 squad? I guess maybe, some things change. Teams grow and change over the seasons and over the semesters, but, like you said, they could be pushing up, and there's no better way to make a case than finishing strong and taking nationals.
Well, we figured out our 10 players to start for the day. It's time to figure out a location. Where we're going to kick things off? Well, we're going to head to Lijiang Tower, I believe, here from map number 1. We had Firebirds banning out Busan, which is an interesting choice. We do have, pretty much everything available here in the map pool for NECC, so a wide variety of options for teams to try to take us to a spot they think is going to be best for them. We also have some interesting bans coming into Nationals as well here, Sam.
Yeah, we are obviously, for those who have been paying attention, Freya is out in the game, but is not going to be in the game that we see here. So that is kind of an obvious one. But the other one that's interesting is Sigma. Sigma's got a little bit of a bug where he's just a little gravity. He really does torque with the gravity a little bit. It makes it a little too strong. So we got to have him sit this one out. So I don't know that limits too much of what these teams are going to pick, but it could be impactful depending on the map.
Well, we don't want any multiversal incursions here, right?
You're right. True.
That could be bad.
Yeah, that could be very, very bad. With all of these changes, though, I don't think Sigma's going to be here. Both teams eyeing variations on the Brawl. I say that, and Ko's looking at Diva. Ko kind of showing a much more anti-dive look, maybe expecting, because this is a good place where you can get away with a dive. Winston does show up. I wouldn't be shocked if Eric the Red actually stays on the Sim. The Sim Torb look is one of those kinds of fringe anti-dive looks we've seen multiple times, even in the pros, so I don't think this is a bad look. They're going to match the Tracer instead. But still, a very solid, sturdy anti-flinker comp out of Ko should make a difference against this comp from the Firebirds.
Carthage running a very sustained heavy. You got an Ana Juno backline, a lot of heal output onto what is already a very sturdy Ramatra. You can see Caught Ring was currently holding the tee shop, does finally make a move to cross the dangerous open ground onto the objective where a nice purple had landed, forced Ko off of this point. So Carthage now looking to solidify on this objective. A little bit of a dance with Earth on the outside. Earth's able to escape a low health bar. Earth can't quite find the kill. Showstorm does end up going down. Chicken Fries next on the chopping block, and Ko, they get imbalanced, but they come back, converge beautifully onto this point to grab first cap.
It's interesting because the Carthage squad, you know, with the double flex support, the Ana Juno, their comp is very interesting. They want to get, they're really support heavy. They want to get these purples, these Ana nades from Crazy Mage to land, and then they want to try to move with the Juno ring onto the team. But it's so very particular. It's very slow. Everything kind of has to go right. Where Ko College can just kind of move. Everybody has a movement ability and can go and collapse very quickly. So Carthage are playing a much slower game.
Carthage trying to rotate through White Room right now, making that slow approach where they have long sightlines to work with, kind of get everybody bunched up. Try to build up towards his ultimate, but it's a Kitsune Rush out of Ko as the first onto the battlefield as they go first in this fight and go all the way, cleaning out White Room, sending everybody back to spawn.
Yeah, and the other part to that, which you just kind of saw through that, is their approaches tend to be very slow because you can't give up Juno Ring, you know, too early. It takes so long to get that back online that, you know, to give it up to approach and just kind of rotate makes it so much more predictable. Ko well played into that. Now Ko is coming in with, you know, lava. There's going to be a self-destruct for a longer fight, and Earth does have sound barrier, so just a broad advantage of ultimates. They should be able to hold another fight here.
Deadeye out of Lunar Synergy. Find a little bit of space. Can't quite get the skull to pop at the end. Nice dodge there from Dawnbreak. Chicken Fries going to the back line, looking for something with this pulse. The sound barrier is out. Ko College are about to take their turn. Diving onto the back line, trying to get onto Crazy Mage. Here comes Chicken Fries. Has already given the advantage over to Carthage early. You've got a DMAC from Railgun. Oh, no.
Wow.
The Caught Ring gets caught in the self-destruct. That is a terrible turn of events here for Carthage. See if they can claw this one back. Lunar Synergy does manage to find one good headshot under a bit of pressure here, rolling out of the way of the Diva. Earth scrambling off this point because Crazy Mage is rallying. Carthage, I think, have got a foothold on this one, Sam. I don't know how long it's going to last, though.
I mean, yeah, with Rally now finally ending, I was inclined to say that they had it, but I mean, Dawnbreak is coming back with a vengeance here. The respawns are coming in, so Carthage is slowly building up that percentage. I think.
Okay. I mean, you know what? They wanted that space. They rather spend the ultimate than try to claw this one out any further. Good shout out to Chicken Fries for a couple of great kills in the midst of that.
Yeah, I mean, well played. It does give Ko College an advantage now onto the Doomfist to try to push this through. They do have the Lava, they'll have a Casino Rush. There's a lot coming out there. Deadeye
interrupted and destroyed there by Railgun and Dawnbreak. I don't think that Molten Core got anywhere, though. The ultimate was spit. There's no lava out. There is an annihilation on this point from Caught Rain, and it's made it difficult for Ko College to stick around.
Interesting. They committed both of those ultimates for Ko and kind of got no value, so I guess maybe, you know, that was just enough. Now, I mean, with Chicken Fries, who's been playing phenomenally on this Tracer, Pulse Bomb is live, so I'm expecting maybe a blink into this backline. They know where Ko is coming from, so they might try to get a cheeky stick here around this corner.
Oh, they went for it, but Blink took just a little bit too far back.
Ooh,
Doing sandwiching Earth Red. That's a good opening pick. Took a lot of the damage out of the approach, but without rain, advantage is to Ko at this moment. Railgun making a deep move, trying to pin down the brick at the back line. Chicken Fries catches V on this approach. As Ko kind of split themselves apart a little too much to move on to this point, and it's gotten messy. Carthage once again coming out on top in these messy fights on the back of Chicken Fries' Tracer.
And now up to 83%, like I had kind of alluded to earlier, it's going to come down to the team play. And that was, even though the Pulse Bomb didn't get value, it put Chicken Fries in a great pincer situation to kind of capitalize on that. But that advantage is kind of gone. Crazy Mage needs to build this rally if they're going to survive a longer fight here. So Crazy Mage falling dangerously low. They cannot afford that. Oh, that's okay.
It's not time to save Eric the Red either. Ko's trying to move in on the back of that sound barrier. Crazy Mage does survive, does get the rally up. Lunar Synergy separated now from the Doomfist, trying to fan their way to freedom. Cannot escape the wrath of Railgun, but there's nobody on the point.
Oh, no. Oh, that hurts. That was almost a hero play, just cut short by the lack of anybody on point. Oh, that's tragic. That's tragic.
Chicken Fries, impressive so far here in this opening round. I must say.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's been a couple standout performances, that being one. Chicken Fries on the Tracer really has been, just affecting the game, taking those flank angles and forcing the teams to kind of look and make sure you can see that. I mean, only 2 deaths on the Tracer is actually kind of wild. For a Tracer to sneak away that much and live tells you that Chicken Fries isn't getting punished for it. Urf and V, though, on the other side for Co College also only have fewer deaths. It also tells me that Co College isn't getting, they're not getting pressure on the backline. Co now moving over to the Zarya aggressive brawl here on control. I mean, it makes sense here in Control Center. You have to match it, but they're going to play a little bit more isolative against this brawl comp.
I love the fact that we can see the scoreboard now, by the way. That is so amazing.
That's cool.
They actually listened. We asked for that when Perks got introduced kind of as a community, and they actually listened.
I love that.
Zarya right now is holding court. Standing tall despite it was hovering around about half health there for the longest, but was able to toe that line long enough for the damage to come through. Eric with 2 final blows, first cap to go.
Again, a bit of a messy fight. The one thing where Zarya does have the advantage in this is that, you have a lot more DPS. You're giving up, your DPS into your tank line, so a tank-focused comp as opposed to Carthage, who's playing a little bit more, support and that DPS-based still, even with that Juno. So, I mean, Railgun already at 75. I don't think they're ready for this Graviton Surge that's going to be here around the corner.
I think Caught Rain was trying to see if they could outpace it. Lunar Synergy finds something down Main Street, and Crazy Mage on the front line, going toe-to-toe with that Zarya. Going to actually drive him out with a kill from Chicken Fries, and a bit of some Nemesis punching coming down. The pummels from Rain actually build up their ultimate first. Railgun goes down before they get a chance to use that grab.
I do think that Carthage may not recognize that. Most teams kind of think of this Graviton Surge as being a bit slower moving, but Co has basically almost all 5 online. Urf will probably get closer to the sound barrier as the approach happens. It's almost a 5v5 and a full treasure chest for both teams, so we're really going to have to see how these kinds of pairings come out when the ults happen, because whoever can make the most value will win.
Carthage is going to open with the orbital, but a Deadeye into it just to keep Carthage kind of suppressed back. Followed up by the Kitsune Rush.
Wow.
Now it's Lunar Synergy's turn, and both of those little ult trades go into Ko's favor. The Kitsune Rush plus the Zarya just way too powerful.
Yeah, that's just huge. I mean, Railgun was just high charge there, got in the face, still had bubbles up, so no fear going into that Deadeye. And because of that, they'll go in with 2 great space control ults, Blizzard and this Graviton Surge plus Sound Barrier, so the longer fight favors them. Crazy Mage holding onto a rally, and there's an Annihilation, so watch for these ults to counter each other out.
Good wall. We got the Blizzard grab combo on the point. It's just enormous. Everybody's frozen stiff. It was a statue gallery out there, Sam.
Yeah, very well clustered together. Jeez. A bit costly, though, maybe. Maybe you could have survived with just the Blizzard or just one, but, I don't think you're mad. 60%, 70% climbing for Co, and you still have Sound Barrier for this Annihilation. You're sitting pretty good. You just kind of have to keep this positional advantage to win.
Morgan's breaking down. Sound Barrier and Annihilation do immediately come out. Caught Rain just kind of slows their roll. Ooh, but a dangerous move. Railgun oversteps. Yeah, tried to go into the back line and trade out, thinking that Caught Rain was going to continue to push forward, but wonderful peel, and Carthage give themselves a huge advantage on the back of that ult trade.
And it's enough to get them point. Now they'll be at 40 and climbing here back into a neutral fight, so any late picks here really only favor Carthage. The Chicken Fries with Pulse Bomb up, well, not the most successful, but it still does what it needs to do. There's still a chance that Eric has a high noon, and I don't know that that's going to have gotten a ton of value.
Oh, but here comes another Kitsune. Railgun just has like infinite bubbles and all the damage in the world. Lunar Synergy ends up getting sandwiched, double teamed in the back line. Beautiful shot on the Chicken Fries. Here's the flip.
I mean, V came to life in that last one. Last touch going to get walled off here. I don't know that anybody's going to even be able to make it, Jeff. It looks like they're stopped at the gate. Well played from Co College to tie it up.
We're headed to Night Market here for round 3.
I mean, a very different game here. from what we had saw, it seems like this is probably going to be the look that we see Coast stay with unless they choose to go into something like a dive. Like, that is kind of oddly submap specific in regards to, you know, you play maybe a little bit more brawly, May. We used to see things like Junkrat here, but I don't even hate this look. I think you could stay on this if you're Co, and with how those performances went. You were very dominant. You were building up ultimates and getting damage in faster, and I believe it's going to show, yeah. Like, that's just, like, look at Urf. Urf is putting in a phenomenal show. 23 assists out of your support line. Like, the whole Co team is getting in on that. They're going to go into the Orisa now, but keep the same idea, and I don't hate that. I actually think that's a smart idea. Carthage is actually going to come out with the Symmetra Doomfist, watch the teleport, and watch to try to get early control. It is so difficult to dislodge this comp out of the point.
Yeah, Sebastian is just crazy amounts of damage, and you can just put the Bastion anywhere. But if you can play it around the Assault configuration, that is your time to go. So, you know, when wheels are up, that's Co's window to move in and attack. First, you got to clear out those pesky Sim turrets, though.
Yeah. Okay, initial point there. It's still slow. Like you said, you really can't let Carthage get set up because it's very timing window specific, and with the mobility of the Sim, it's very interesting. This is those kinds of comps you only see in D5, Jeff.
I also think this is really smart from Carthage in that we've seen them continually try to slow this play down and struggle. Even when they're able to win that map on Gardens, they couldn't quite get the play into the pace that they wanted. This has done it. This is slowed to a crawl, and they're winning out these long, enduring fights.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the double flex support, you have Kiri and Juno who can just put out so much healing onto single targets. You're not necessarily worried because Lunar is just sitting back and Chicken Fries is able to kind of move, so you're not really able to kind of guess where the Sim turrets are or where they're positioning to, and finally, they'll move forward and try to press back. This might actually hurt them by going this aggressive, Jeff.
If they trade out, I mean, it's an opportunity for Code to get into this thing. Good energy, Jeff! The Bastion just knock it out alive! And they do, in fact, punish the overstep from Carthage. Now a beautiful Blizzard onto this point out of Co College, and they have cracked this point open like an egg.
Yeah. Great recognition to just acknowledge that Carthage maybe are kind of getting a little too big for their britches there. That was just exactly what they needed to do, is just kind of lure them out, force them into, you know, a game where they're not as dug in and self-disciplined. This is the closest to like a bunker comp you're going to get. But with these ultimates online now, like, Carthage does have the tools to kind of get through a lot of this. It's just going to be very costly. These are all high-value ults for the most part. They're just going to push the issue right now.
Oh, what year is this? We're dropping into a Terra Surge, though. That could be a problem. Sound Barrier online as well. Urf is going to, boops off the Bastion mid-ultimate, by the way. Urf has got another one. Urf has got another one. Urf gets a 4K.
What a time to be alive and enjoying Overwatch, Jeff. What a time.
Friday.
What a Friday night. What a way to kick off playoff season. I love this. Costly for the Firebirds, though. That was 3 of the 4. You saved Annihilation, and now it's hard because you can't necessarily get into like, you really can't use that to get into way. They're going to try to teleport up again, but Co understand they have the script now, Jeff.
Yeah, but Co doesn't have the Terra Surge this time. They can't just move on to the point. They have to give up control. And now with the Annihilation, even more space bought here by Carthage. They can start to get this back into the tempo they wanted. A good wall has put Raid in an awkward spot, but Urf pays to try to punish that bad positioning. Now Caught Rain comes up with the other support, and it's going to be a fight win for Carthage.
I do think Carthage understand what they need to do to win, which is just take the fight to the point where they have the walls, they have the cover, and get set up. And I really do love that. They understand it. But they, you know, look, they got punished once. Caught Rain is kind of catching on to it. But they need to be safe here because there's a Blizzard and a Kitsune Rush coming up, and they have nothing to stop that. So this is just going to go the way of Go College.
Deadeye's popped immediately. Oh, trying to use the grenade, I think, to boop Eric the Red back. Turning the corner against the Bastion. Wheels down. Dangerous pop position, but gets the skull. Punch off. Bastion is gone. Eric the Red looping around to cut into the back line, meet up with the rest of this Kitsune Rush, and a well-executed fight here from Co.
Yeah, just great threats, using threats even if they didn't need it. You didn't even need the Deadeye, really. You had one skull, and Eric thought it wasn't worth it, but that threat alone was just enough. You did give Kitsune Rush in as well, and that's, you know, if that's all it takes to win the fight and keep yourself alive, that's fine. 73 in climbing, you have to stop this. You have to stop Carthage. They are coming into their ultimates. You need to get an early pick to hold this and win.
Dawnbreak with this Blizzard could do it. It's a More of a conservative approach here from Ko. I say approach, hold out of Ko. As opposed to trying to hold the choke, they're waiting for the teleport. Throw the Blizzard down as soon as they drop in. 2 immediately caught. The Bastion's able to back out of the teleport. There's a sound barrier here from Ko, and they're going to push forward and clean up. This will end up being a Ko College victory on map 1, barring this ultimate just killing everything. There it is. 100 to 99 on a round 3 to kick off Nationals.
Man, what a great opener, Jeff. We got a full 3 submaps on control. We got a Lucio 4K. Please be that 4K.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh
I
yeah.
want to see this. I need to see this. I'm just gonna watch along with you guys because I need to see what Earth did here after the sound barrier. Oh, wow! Oh wow!
I love how Lunar Center didn't even hit the ground during the ultimate.
That's
that was
wild.
amazing.
That's some wild play. But I think that really does show you, Jeff, how key these supports have been through both of this, through like all of these submaps, right? Carthage came out on a very like support-heavy, comp line with the Ana Juno, which works, but it's very dependent on hitting, anti-nades. Ko College is just winning on the back of, just very quick team play with the supports, making sure they can keep the Lucio boosting, making sure the team is positioned well, and kind of just playing around it. So Ko being very quick to adapt this into some of these tricky plays that Carthage are presenting. This is going to be a good fight going into game 2s and 3 because Carthage definitely showed us several looks that I don't think you get to see in scrims. These are very like Carthage Firebirds Black kind of lineups that we're getting to see.
Earth with a massive game. I'm just looking at all the assists as we get through this highlight reel.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, Earth is in every single one of these. Yeah. I'm thinking the self-destruct kill on a caught raid, I believe, was a boop after seeing it once again in replay. Obviously, in real time, I was like, how does the tank with the shield end up dying to that? I believe that was an Earth boop is how that happened.
Yep. Earth had like 20-something assists in addition to the 20 kills.
Yeah, that was after round 2. That was after round 2.
Those numbers are insane. No one really has those numbers, but Earth has been playing like we love to exaggerate here that like players are playing outside their minds or they're playing crazy. Like Earth is actually putting on insane numbers in 20 assists and 20 kills. Like those are just numbers you do not see in normal games.
And that was before the Bastion play the game boop.
Yeah.
The Bastion carry boop.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely keeping an eye on these support lines. I felt like both support lines were highly impactful.
Agree.
I think I actually liked the Brig look out of the back line from Carthage more than what we saw from the rest of that map. One of the things I took away from that is we saw a lot of different looks out of Ko College. I don't really know what they're going to show to us, but we saw Carthage run that same Ramantra comp, variations on a theme at least, throughout all 3 sub points. So I'm expecting them to stick with that, and I think I liked the Brig backline the best, particularly against the fast-moving Ko.
Yeah, I fully agree. Like, I think you need the Brig if you're going to be playing against something like a brawl comp that also runs, Kiri, Lucio.
Yeah.
Kiri becomes kind of a third flanker to pair with a Tracer, and, there's no Genji, but you might see something like a Genji down the road. But, like, having that extra ability for your support to kind of go aggressive there and take a slight off angle and put pressure on is so huge. So I really do like the Brig, especially in that regard. I also do think that Juno is probably your better choice. She did take a couple of hits, but I do think that given you're still playing this kind of more bunched up grouping with Ramattra, Juno just makes more sense to have versus like the solo nano that you kind of want to play with a Winston and a dive comp. I think I agree with you. I think if the Firebirds are going to do that, like that is their best backline support.
You need the speed. The speed ring, like you were talking about, is so vital to their engagements. And then the orbital ray. That orbital ray is so...
It's just so good.
It's so valuable. If you're going to be bunched up, it's the best ult in the game.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to be fighting in a little brawl comp, like, there's no better fight winner in the game than orbital ray.
Agreed, and that's why it's been sticking around. But speaking of things that stick around and never go away, Jeff.
10 out of 10 segue.
So yeah, it's Kings Row. Interesting. Look, I'm not going to get excited for Kings Row. I am going to be interested in the band though, Jeff. Paraiso is an interesting band choice. I don't know. Like that tells me one of two things. That tells me we do not want to be playing Brawl, which is very interesting because Paraiso is one of those, like Paraiso and Numbani are the maps I think of when we look at like Brawl comps. So that's very interesting that Ko is kind of, just trying to shy away from that. Tells me they don't want to play it. And the Kings Row pick then tells me that like, okay, Carthage also agrees we do not want to play a dive. So back to Brawl. I think we're going to see more of the same here on Kings Row. I don't see a reason for either team to really change it. It went 3 maps in 99 to 99 to 100, so I don't know that I see a reason to change much.
I mean, and the May cast looked really good out of Co College. But it is interesting that they chose to ban out the dive map. I mean, they showed us a lot more of a dive-like look. They played the Lucio Curie. They brought the Diva, the Doomfist on a couple of different occasions in map 1. So, yeah, it is kind of intriguing that they're the ones that chose to ban out the high ground map, and we end up just on good old tried and true ground and pound, the home of Brawl, Kings Row.
Yeah, well, so it is. It isn't, but also, Jeff, let's be real here. We're also seeing a lot of Pharah now in Kings Row.
Yeah.
So those skylines, those beautiful skylines, are a lot more dangerous, and I wouldn't be shocked if someone was going to bring out a Pharah here, just given how, again, like we always talk about the characters that really won from perks, and Pharah is 100% one of those characters that really did it.
Oh, Drift Dusters, man, Drift Dusters are so good.
Oh yeah, it's just those perks are just so good. But it looks like neither are going to be. Carthage is eyeing that initial comp they showed us, which, like you said, they looked better when they were slower on map 1. They kind of slowed it down. We're going to have a pause also, though, while they figure some things out. But I do think that I'm not crazy about that backline, like you said. Like, I do think if you want to slow it down, I think you should be running the Brig Juno. Even the Brigana, I think, is fine. But I'm not crazy about this very
How do you hold that back high ground?
Backline.
You're going to have a lot of Juno on point A defensive Kings Row.
Yeah.
Like, how do you hold? How do you protect your backline at all? There's going to be the
especially against Earth. Yeah, especially against Earth, who's like everywhere and will displace you. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that.
Yeah, that's going to be the trick here. That's going to be the trick here for sure. We are seeing, I think, another interesting talk when kind of looping back around with the perks. We are seeing May being shown by both of our teams here for the second map in a row. And then talk about big winner from Season 16 perk changes. Oh, my goodness. They gave her Deep Freeze back to where May can permafreeze again. And really kind of buffed her perks a bit. So I'm kind of not surprised to see May play as much as it is here today.
Yeah, and I've mentioned this in other casts here in NECC in the season, but like May is almost like a kind of a fundamentals check in a lot of ways, right? Like she creates the isolations, she creates these moments where she will punish you, she will freeze you if you are out of place, if you get caught out behind a wall, she will punish you, and that is kind of one of those things that some teams, they just kind of miss the check, they kind of fall apart, or they haven't played against one in so long that they just kind of forget how to do that. So like you said, in addition to the perks and like the changes that we're seeing, I'm not surprised either, but if Co intend to match, I would be shocked. Yeah,
I mean, they're showing us that right now, but they have time to change their mind.
Yeah, I'm not wild on that.
I love the idea that May is kind of a skill check hero, though. Particularly down to the ultimate, or even down to the ultimate, probably more accurate. But where you have a lot of lead-in time. She yells it early before she it's as far as the ultimates go, fairly easy to stop and avoid. But if you're caught off guard by it, or if you're out of position, if you're not prepared for it, it can be an instant fight win. I mean, we saw it happen on Li Zhang. So I mean, even down just the fundamentals of her ultimate, it is kind of interesting. May is very much a skill check hero, and those walls play a very important part.
Yeah, and I don't, like, say what you will, maybe you're not a fan of that. You don't have to be, but you have to at least acknowledge that, there are a lot of heroes in Overwatch that can do that, where they will punish you if you are, if you just don't have your fundamentals up. And sometimes here in D5, Jeff, you maybe you forget some of those fundamentals. Yep. Maybe it just kind of slips. Maybe you have an off night, and that's what it takes. But considering we are in the Nationals time frame, like, I don't expect any of these teams are going to fall too hard for that. I do think now that we're back to May with Deep Freeze, I think we're going to have to see what these teams do, though, because I think a lot of players kind of almost forgot what it's like to deal with that.
Yeah, it's a pain. It is a royal pain.
It's tough.
It's tough. What are you doing to us, Blizzard? You brought back Deep Freeze and Infinite Invis Sombra. What are you doing?
What are you talking about, Jeff? I've had Sombra banned out in 99% of my games. I've not seen a Sombra all since these bans came in.
Perma Invis, that's what I'm saying.
Perma Invis.
Perma Invis out of the game entirely.
Perma Invis out of the game.
It is funny because we are getting a lot more of the up close and personal fundamental May. This isn't like sniper May.
Yes.
We're not
Yes.
getting like, you know, Overwatch Korea long shots where you're taking out the sniper from across the map May. This is up close, wall off the tank, and see if you can do enough damage before the healers can break the wall down.
Yeah, and that's going to be a lot of it because, you know, usually you kind of wanted to play like a diva or something so you can, you know, get away from it, maybe a Zarya to cleanse the deep freeze. But we are getting Chicken Fry's Genji here, which is an interesting. I do like that, you know, considering Chicken Fry's played well on Tracer, I do think that they're posed to do very well on the Genji here. Co-College are going to show us the Orisa with the Mei. I assume it's going to be a Cassidy as well because Co looked very good with his Brawl comp. You know, it plays this comp plays for space. They're going to try to fight for a hotel here, and you know they'll take the space where they get it to try to create an isolation. And I like this. It's a slow move from Co, but it works.
So far, Chicken Fry's holding wall just to prevent the flank from coming through. So that indicates to me Co are looking to move inside the house. But that means they've left Dawnbreak kind of isolated on the outside. Caught Raid trying to isolate that target. Trying to see if they can take advantage of that target. Woo! Caught up, jumping around the pillars, will not find. And say that! Dawnbreak actually gets the kill.
Wow.
How did Dawnbreak get out of that one in one piece?
That's actually kind of nuts.
Like what I saw on my screen and what I saw on the kill feed, like just didn't seem to line up.
That was not. Yeah, that was not proper. And what a spear from Railgun. Great closing that out. Yeah, that should not have happened. Dawnbreak was way out of position there, and that should have been an easy catch for Chicken Fry. So a rare miss from a player who had shown off really well in game one. Crazy Mage on the back of that did, you know, look at already almost to, what a purple. I say already almost to a nano, and that is pretty quick. These ults have been building quick from both sides. They're just laying damage into each other.
Yeah, I mean, we're about 90 seconds into this map, and we're getting a bevy of ultimates coming online. You can see with the fantastic names how Crazy Mage was able to build it up. There goes another one in. That one lands just in front of the card. Orbital Ray engage out of Co. Trying to wall off Caught Rain, but they are able to back up just in time. I think a speed ring thrown in from Snowstorm able to get them out of harm's way. Chicken Fry's going down, not good, but we're going to invest in Nano from a defensive side. 4v5. Equalize, but not before the Blizzard is on the battlefield. Caught Rain not going down, though. Does not get stuck in the Blizzard. Terra Surge thrown in. Does take down Crazy Mage, but you have to trade out your tank for it. The defense are slowly going to win this one out now. They don't have... they have the advantage with no tank there for Co.
I mean, yeah. A great read from Caught Rain, though, to recognize.
Very good read.
Yeah. Just like, look, if I'm going to get caught in Blizzard, I might as well keep Annihilation, and just knowing that they have to use it defensively there is a great read. It's going to be Blade with a Bob into this Orbital Ray, and that should just overpower here, Jeff.
Rally have to try to fend off the double ult combo. Able to get one stun in. Dawnbreak gets the bitter in, and Chicken Fries once again, this time during the Ray Blade. Oh, and Chicken Fries is just wondering what on earth just happened. Now we're getting the bomb. Toss in from Lunar Synergy to try to hold the line. Co slowed momentarily. A Deadeye has been used, but so far no casualties. They turn the corner with a good wall, catching Caught Rain. No Nemesis form to fend it off, and the tank is finally wrought down.
You know, I was kind of shocked to see Urf come out on the Brig, and, you know, kind of thinking that maybe it was going to be a little bit more painful and, you know, create some less impact. But Urf is actually just continuing to be on fire, just continuing to run it down and protect well against the Firebirds. So I've no real shock, I guess. 3 minutes, there's going to be a chance for a recontest, but the Firebirds don't really have much to go off of. There's an Annihilation coming up, no Nano to pair with it, especially into Blizzard and Orbital Ray. This is kind of a dead fight. I kind of don't want the Firebirds to throw any ultimates in this and just kind of run it down neutral.
They've lost Chicken Fries on the approach. They're not going to get the touch, so second point on the board. Caught Rain does invest that Annihilation, but you force Co to use a big ultimate in their own right.
Yeah, that's something. Railgun did take the extended spear for the Major.
I saw that! I was about to say, this is an Orisa after my own heart here, Sam. I was just thinking that. No cowardly shield here.
I was going to say, I was kind of interested to see if maybe you take the shield, but I actually really do like the spear with the additional damage and the knockback. I think that's a much better pick when you're talking about setting up your Ashe or your Mei for success here. You can hit those headshots in from either of them. So I really do like that. Now going to get matched by Caught Rain. But it's a little too late here. There are several ults from Co College. They are poised to close this out with 3 minutes to spay. There's, let's say with really anything without any real stopper.
Orbital throw it in after the purple fades. The energy javelin doesn't land. He got a Deadeye bolster. The Lunar Synergy with all guns pointed at him won't survive. Here comes that rallying Earth. The hero of Co in to push him across the line. A humongous Terra Surge. That'll get it done, Sam. That'll get it done.
Ooh, Railgun not going to let Earth have all the spotlight, I guess, Jeff. 3K with the Terra Surge and then a spin flourish kill as well. You know what? There's some flashy plays out of Co, and you know, it kind of helped that they had the ability to overwhelm, but I think that's kind of just the way this team works, right? They get a win, they snowball a little bit, they kind of use their advantage as well, and it works out in their favor, whereas the Firebirds, unfortunately, just kind of get punished for these small decisions. Chicken Fries in particular, you know, that was the second time, mind you, that he died there. With, you know, just kind of getting caught out of position. So the Genji was like a decent look, but Chicken Fries just, unfortunately, just kind of getting caught out there, you know, and kind of causing a lot of those errors, realistically. Chicken Fries had nothing, Jeff?
Oh,
he had no elims that whole game? Oh, wow. Yeah, that shows you that Co recognized Chicken Fries is the problem here, and we need to stop that. They shut that right down. That's incredible.
Also, the backline did not die.
Backline never died?
Backline never died.
Wow. That's crazy.
3 deaths total.
I mean,
Dawnbreak, what are you doing? Come on,
wow.
Dawnbreak, get your act together.
That's, wow.
You died twice as much as everybody else on your team. What are you doing?
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
But those things, because, well, let's be real, though. Those things are related, right? If Chicken Fries on a flanker can't get into the backline to distract and they can't get a pick, it means that their job is so difficult. They're not getting their job done of what they're supposed to be doing. So, you know, that's why you see there's no picks on the side. You know, there's no deaths on the side of Co College, and that's why you see that, unfortunately, Chicken Fries just could not. Chicken Fries couldn't buy a decent outcome for himself.
I mean, Ray Blade got shut down.
Yeah, yeah.
And now Earth is feeling bold.
Zenyatta?
Yeah, we're pulling out a Zenyatta here, Sam.
And Zenyatta Bastion as well. Into the Bastion as well is just crazy.
Oh, Rain gets caught on this approach. I thought this was a good ambush. I like the idea. Saw the vision from Carthage. They even got the opening pick, but they're losing resources here.
Yeah, it's unfortunately just not. It's just unfortunately just difficult. The one thing that I do give the Zenyatta is, you know what? They're feeling invincible. They never died. I don't blame them. There's no dive, so Zenyatta can just kind of park it wherever and throw orbs onto things. So it's like, as far as Ursa's feeling, I don't blame him for feeling invincible. He's clearly won with the Iris in this case.
I mean, what, you look up and you saw Chicken Fries got no kills on the Genji, and you're like, they're not going Genji again. I'm safe.
They're not going Genji again. Yeah.
I mean, what a mental
like,
boom!
I have no worries.
What a mental boom! Say, what a play!
That hurts. Yeah, that's great.
All right.
Like, that hurts.
Hotel rotation from Carthage once again. We've got to keep it clean and tight, but Railgun's not going to let that happen. Railgun wants it messy, wants it chaos. And what Railgun wants, Railgun's going to get here on point A.
Oh, man. That was fantastic hurting from Railgun. Like, recognizing that they wanted control of Hotel and said, okay, I'll give that up. And then when you realize the rest of my team's on the other side, I'm there. I'm going to punch you. And you saw that punch lead several right out the side and into that pincer. Co now has, you know, 4, almost 5 in, and Caught Rain is going to go over the D.Va. I mean, you have to play a little bit more defensive. You have to try to get onto this Zenyatta somehow, but it's not going to be this fight, especially with Blizzard and I mean, all these ults available. It's just going to be so tough to do.
Hey, you got the Blizzard out of the way. Great job from Caught Rain. Recognize that, stayed on top of Dawnbreak, using the defense matrix to make sure there wasn't any last-second ultimate thrown in. Losing Lunar Synergy on the rotation, not ideal. Oh, and then Snowstorm looked like they dropped right in front. Co College is going to drop this Transcendence, trying to get back onto this point. Aaron's Red's Deadeye does devalue the Kitsune Rush a little bit. Oh, no! And Crazy Mage is going to have a headache for days after that right hook. Chicken Fries does find their first kill of the map here on the Genji, but a Blizzard on the point is going to make it so difficult. Snowstorm caught in the very edge, killed by the very thing that they're named after.
Boy. Again, that was expected to go Co College's way from just the just kind of from the ult charges and from what was on the board. But yikes, that was a long fight, Jeff. Now we're down to our last fight with a minute. And the Firebirds just unfortunately don't have much to stand on. They still saved this Meteor punch, or they still saved the Meteor, so like they're in a decent position to engage on it. And Earth, I don't think Earth's even died still. Earth is still alive.
I don't think either of the backliners died, have they?
Yeah,
They may have.
So.
I don't think so, though. Chicken Fries gets their second pick. Hey, things are already looking up. Oh, man, there's Earth down. First death for the back line. And Chicken Fries has finally got a feather in their cap here for the first time, it feels like, on King's Row. Now, job's not done here yet, Sam.
There's going to be chance. It's going to be, I say, the question is, are they going to use it to get out? No, Railgun's going to stay and fight. Interesting choice.
Eric's coming back on Afara. Definitely expecting a full-on recontest here at the end. Lunar Synergy expecting the same. He's going to go ahead and throw down the Deadeye. Looking for the recontest. Great Suzu to avoid that seismic slam. It's going to be a 2-for-1 trade, though, favoring the defense of College. Caught Raid is able to find Dawn Break, equalize the odds. 3v3 on the point, 12 seconds to go, and Crazy Mage picks up a kill on V in the backline. What an important pick out of Crazy Mage here to keep Carthage in this map.
It is, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It's going to trigger overtime, but Carthage stay alive. They will capture there, and I mean, yeah, like you said, crazy fight. A lot of important things happen there, but I think the one thing we can take away from that long extended fight there is that College, they have plenty of tricks and they can still play very individualistically and kind of play the longer game, even on those very difficult to play heroes. You know, Doomfist, Genji, Dawnbreak looked fantastic. You know, trying to hold that through, but you know, like you said, just timing, making sure they use their ults effectively. is holding on to it, but the Firebirds, now that Chicken Fries is warmed up, now that Chicken Fries has gotten past the boom, I think they're going to be able to keep this going for a little bit. They found something that worked in this double backline, and they have the ults to do it again.
Caught Raid in the face of Dawnbreak. I didn't see the Blizzard come out. I didn't see it get eaten either.
Yeah, I didn't even see it.
But it certainly is not on the table. I think Dawnbreak might even just die before Snowball even hit the battlefield. Really nicely played.
Yeah.
Once again, Caught Rain just smothering the May.
Yeah, I mean, that was the correct play. That also shows me that they're tracking now, so the Firebirds kind of have gotten their footing together. They've gotten kind of past the, okay, we've caught our breath after an insane capture point segment, and they're looking better. Self-destruct plus this orbital ray, I mean, it's interesting that it's going to come down to where Snowstorm puts this, because there's going to be a rate of match, and Caught Rain's going to end up should use this for a remake, but we'll see how it goes.
Railgun was literally down to 1 health. Now double support ults coming in from Ko, and they're able to capitalize so many low health bars. Ooh. And Orphan's gonna chase them down. No, the Deadeye! The Deadeye stops him in the track. Chicken Fries with the bailout. Exciting fight there in the backline, and Lunar Synergy with a spectacular performance here. Once again, the Firebirds living up to their Phoenix icon. Dig deep and rise from the ashes.
I mean, to their credit, Jeff, they took B with only 1 fight, and that's pretty huge considering they needed to make up the time bank here. It's 3 minutes for Ko, and right now 2 for the Firebirds. They won't be able to catch that 3, but the more time they can give them will be better. Ko over now, Dawnbreak over to the Torbjorn, just to try to, again, just keep Chicken Fries off the board. If Chicken Fries can't get value, it's very clear that the Firebirds, will struggle in their game. So great recognition to shut down what has been the biggest problem for them.
And I think Railgun's moving over to the Zarya is also, I mean, you're good against both the D.Va and against the Genji, but I think it's a lot to just shut down Chicken Fries. Make sure they can't use that deflect as an extra tool to harass the back line. Grav now available here for Railgun. There's the blade coming out. The Grav caught!
Oh, Grav good. Grav caught him.
I thought Chicken Fries made it out of that. I mean, that yanked Chicken Fries in from miles away.
Wow. No, used the dash to get to the high ground and then didn't have the dash. Just great recognition from Railgun to recognize the micro of that and just know that there's no way for Chicken Fries to get out, and just canceled that blade with a defensive. Beautifully done. Caught Rain back to the Ramatra here. Man, just phenomenal. Great heads-up play from College. I mean, Crazy Mage is holding on to Kitsune Rush. It's going to be Kitsune Rush into High Noon, so it's probably going to be used to get Lunar Synergy into position. There's nothing in the way of it. There's no defensive, so they need to get value with these 2 ults.
Yossi does at least make Carthage think twice.
Ooh, there we go.
Never mind. Lunar's on second thought said, I'm just going to kill everyone. Unloads the Peacekeeper into 3. Beautiful Deadeye. They've got to make it in with time, Sam. They've got to make it in with time.
Yeah. They're poised to at this point, Jeff. It's going to be the Venture to dig their way out and get a touch. But that orbital ray will meet them there. Wow.
Via's got one of their own. You got two hard to kill on point, but with Dawnbright going down, that's one of them. Eric the Red Tracer is going to be the only one here to stall, and defensive orbital with Railgun in it, not going to help either. Railgun 98% towards another grab already. Is going to throw it down onto the point. That's got at least the tank in it, but I don't think it caught any squishies. Chicken Fry's been able to catch V in the back. Railgun low. Lunar Synergy with the finish. We are going to get a cap here from Carthage, but the best they can hope for is a draw on King's Row.
Yeah, that capture in overtime means that they will not get an attack segment, so they now have the difficult task of holding for 3 minutes. And that is no easy task considering how Co College has been playing. That was the pincer talk I was talking about. That punch is insane. That punch caught almost the whole team, and that's when I was talking about the teamwork that is needed earlier, right?
Yes, sir.
Just recognizing that we could, punish the whole team into the pincer is not the first time Co College has done that. So, again, that teamwork just so essential to this. It's a difficult point to be in though for the Firebirds. They have to hold for 3 minutes.
Chicken Fries got yanked off that ground corner.
Just absolutely noped there. Just insane. Just noped right back into that wall.
What a grab.
Right. I mean, Chicken Fries, very different position. 23 and 10 now.
Yes.
Is so
that was
different
0 and 5 at the start of their attack.
Yeah, by the way.
Yeah.
Now on the way to leading the team there.
Also, Earth and V started that round with 0 deaths, as did Eric the Red. Another important recognition here as you're looking at these stats.
Yeah. It's interesting though because just like raw healing numbers. Snowstorm has just, has 4K over V, which tells you how much healing they're really doing. On the team side, there's a much more defensive play out of the Firebirds, and they're really going to have to rely on that and rely on keeping everybody up, considering they have to survive a 3-minute onslaught. So these supports need to stay alive to heal if there's going to be a problem, and Chicken Fries cannot afford to be a first pick again.
Co College going pure offense. Doomfist, Zenyatta. They're looking for a pick, and they want it quickly. Early damage, headshot onto Eric the Red, putting some pressure down. Wall up to try to make things claustrophobic. Caught Rain does pick up the shield this time as they need this big defensive positioning, and a great opening pick out of Snowstorm. It's Lunar Synergy. He's the first pick for the Stevens, and Chicken Fries is miles away from the rest of the team.
That might be enough. That is DPS down, so you're really going to struggle against this Doomfist now. And Railgun has just been Railgun has been just absolutely chaotically everywhere in everybody's face.
And I'm playing on 3 or 4 different tanks already in just the 2 maps that we've seen as well. Good job from Caught Rain, able to juggle both of these, though. Keep it head on a swivel despite being discorded.
Oh, what a punch!
Oh, no! That's going to end the round right there. What a nail in the coffin out of Railgun.
Wow. Not the first time Railgun has caught several on those punches, but Railgun's Doomfist has been phenomenal to watch. Like, just watching how they move across the map, where they were positioning, like they just recognize, look, okay, I can catch a slam here, I'm right into cover. I can move to this point, now I can see where they're hiding. And it was just phenomenal, not just Doomfist play, but also just acknowledgement to get information, to play safe while also being aggressive and getting damage down. That 4K punch also had several 4K slams into it, Jeff. So just incredible play out of Railgun. Just phenomenal tank play from them.
Doesn't matter what tank it was. Give me the Orisa, the Doom, the Ramatra, the Diva. Railgun has been a shining star for Co. They're up 2-0. They need one more map to close it out. When we come back, we'll see if they can complete the 3-0. We'll return with more NECC in just a few. Oh, it has been a fun and wild couple of maps here, opening up Nationals in our D5 matchup between Co College and Carthage Firebirds. Co up 2-0 after 2. Carthage hoping they can pull it around here in map 3. We're headed to push. Where are they taking us, Sam?
They're going to, you know what, we had some predictability, and now we get the fun. We go to New Queen Street, Jeff, and the ban was Coliseo, and I don't know what to make of this. Coliseo tells me maybe, once again, we're trying to keep away from dive heroes.
Yeah.
But New Queen Street's also, you know, like a very flank-heavy map. There's a lot of ins and outs, a lot of places for Tracers, Genjis, Reapers to hide. So I'm very interested to see what the Firebirds have in their pocket for this, because they've had some very interesting strats, particularly on control. And I have to imagine this is a very calculated pick. Like, most teams avoid New Queen Street. This feels like we have a plan here, we have a couple set plays, and we want to show this.
And going to a map like this can often be we know nobody scrims this map. We know people don't play this map as often as they do Esperanza and Coliseo. So we're going to go to a map that is less practiced, and we have our own strats. I can fully see that. It wouldn't surprise me to see like the Sebastian come back or something just really weird here.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like, this is kind of one of those places where you're going to see, like, you know, we used to see a lot of dive, a lot of Winston on this in the upper ends, but you can get a lot of ins and outs with something like a Reaper, like a Symmetra, or like weird Torbjorn playsets, especially with a Spider turret. Like, there are some probably insane places you could put this here. Okay, wait, what? Why is Co? Wait, no, wait, hold on, Jeff. This is not what I was expecting. Yeah, I don't buy that.
I don't believe you. I believe the May cast. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I don't buy anything else there.
I don't buy anything
But, like,
else.
I don't buy anything else on that. But, like, Carthage showing us a relatively tame comp in that they are showing us kind of the Ramatra, which they had shown us before. I'm still, again, kind of not crazy about this double flex hit scan, or this double flex backline. We'd kind of talked about this. I'm not crazy about it, but I can understand maybe why you think it's going to work here. Co is showing us again, what worked similarly in the double flex line, but they're going to play the Kiriko instead. I mean, Co just has kind of a more aggressive damage comp here. I like that it look better.
I mean, Carthage is once again investing in that high sustain. I will say it's a good read, and only that Co does end up rolling with the May cast, so they don't have a Tracer or anything to worry about onto that support lineup. So they can't afford to invest a little bit more into the sustain. So far, it's working out in that, well, nobody's killed anybody. It's just been a dance around the hockey player here to start. Chicken Fry's trying to find entrance, dangerously dancing along the outskirts of Coast. Speed ring to disengage, though. So far, we're still 5-on-5. No kills just yet.
Yeah. I mean, Chicken Fries is really kind of the linchpin for the Firebirds here. You can see how he's trying to play that coastline to get any sort of flank pick value. And that's kind of been the Firebirds' plan, is just make sure we can set Chicken Fries up for success, as that's been their number one pick. What a great sleep, though.
Yeah, it was a vulnerable back line, and despite Crazy Mage's ability to trade it out, unfortunately, they do end up going down. And these trades are favoring Co here as this fight eventually breaks out in earnest. As soon as Caught Rain tried to take off with the bot, Co made a move and sprint past the statue and right on top of the Ana.
I can see what the plan was there, try to force the fight in a different direction, but considering it had been neutral for the most part, I don't know that that was the right timing to really do so. Co already 70% to a Blizzard, by the way. That's a huge just ult that doesn't normally build quickly, so Co has been putting out all kinds of damage with this high comp into this high sustain. That's why you see the healing numbers were high for the Firebirds, but they're still kind of slower, a little slower in the ultimate charge banks. Where are we going?
And they could use that nano right now. Yeah, Caught Rain jumping out of the window. The nano is not online yet, but I could understand that if you had the big auto ultimate to back you up. As it stands, that was a little bit of a mismatch you put yourself in. Earth coming up with 4 final blows in that fight. Earth, man! What on earth is going on?
Earth is making. Look, we talked about how this Co-College lineup had some players we'd seen around the, the collegiate scene for a while, but Earth definitely is one of those players that, even if Co doesn't move up, I could see Earth going on to like some, an OWCS contenders level team, like someone who's really pushing for that. With all 5 up, Co is just poised to hold this. They just need to align their ults to hold this and get the point.
There's an Enema eventually throw down. Caught Rain. Just try to go into the back line. But Eric
Excuse me?
Eric was like over the defensive spawn with that Deadeye. Conrad's still playing ring around the rosy with this annihilation, but Earth gives him the slip and the kunai.
That took me a minute to be like, wait, how did Eric get back there? But that really speaks to Ko. No Lucio in sight, but still able to control and win the battlefield. They win the space fights there, and they won with only 2 ultimates, mind you, Jeff. They spent Kitsune Rush and the Deadeye, so they still have Blizzard. There's going to be a Blizzard into a grab search here. Just watch it get a few.
Did get the early pick, but the grab is enormous. The orbital ray toss on top of it, and it's immediate 2 picks. The jump ups allow Railgun just to control this map, and Ko are looking to close this one out and lickety-split speed run here on New Queen Street.
Yeah, we'll have to check the scoreboard of this because I have a feeling this might be Shades of King's Row here. Blade up for Chicken Fries. There's a overclock as well. These DPS need to come up for the Firebirds. They need to come up huge now.
Blue Synergy got opening pick in the previous fight. The OC's gotten some connects, but no kills. Caught Rain looking to chase him down, turns the corner, and eats a hail of bullets. But good pick onto Eric the Red. That's exactly what Carthage needed.
That's it. This is the start. But the problem is, Jeff, they need to win the next, 2 at a minimum to even start making progress. They'll get back to mid before maybe another fight kicks off. And with 120 meters and about 5:45 on the clock, this is a big uphill climb to make. Earth is holding onto a Kitsune Rush, and there is nothing in the way. So Chicken Fries going early, and I respect that.
Yeah, you have to. Does 5v, finds Dawnbreak. Beautiful blade.
Yeah, that's all you needed. That's simple. Nothing else to say. A+, nailed it.
Yeah, no notes.
No notes. You got exactly the value you wanted, and you'll find Eric to pull it out. This is how you win a fight with very little investment, and then you're getting these late picks that help you keep this moving. So they'll likely get the checkpoint here, Jeff, and that is a huge start. That is one of the 2 they needed to win to really kind of make progress. But it's going to be tough now that Carthage have the ult advantage now. This Kitsune Rush may actually even be used to disengage from Ko, and it wouldn't shock me if they kind of just use it to kind of kite the ult combo coming in against them.
Give me an aggressive engage out of Earth and Ko College.
Never mind. They're just going to win on it.
Yeah, as Wilga just ends up behind everybody.
Okay, that can also happen.
Ko goes fast, win fight. Flawless. Yep. No casualties.
Look, in like D1, that might have made sense. I forget we're in D5 here where anything's possible, and sometimes we just play aggressive and we catch teams off guard, and that wins. And you know what? That's fine. That's sometimes what it does. Sometimes it's as easy as press Q, win fight, and Ko College now it's back in their way. They have both DPS ultimates up and a grab on the way. So again, just poised to kind of put this. These have been very aggressive. There's no defensive comps on the field, Jeff.
Oh, and the Blizzard does make it out from Dawnbreak. Will be enough. Caught Rain frozen. Dash up out of Chicken Fries to get out of there. Lunar Synergy, the only one that ends up falling as a result of that. So, okay, Carthage able to hang on with the use of that annihilation. Well played. Still a lot of room to go.
Like I was kind of alluding to earlier, there's no defensives on either side, so this is we kind of are making the teams be a little more creative with how they survive in these fights and longer fights here. But with Ko having this Graviton Surge and to Deadeye, I have to imagine they're going to be in a better position to close out a fight here.
The grabs have been enormous. Feels like every grab has been fight winning.
Yeah, like I don't, especially with Snowstorm just kind of yeeting that orbital ray into Narnia.
Nothingness.
Value.
Yeah, you needed that. Great wall, great Suzu. But still the kills come through on the back of it. But the trades are there. Okay, Chicken Fries and Caught Rain are able to find important kills at that. Taking a lot of the space control and damage out of this. Eric still playing off this back flank. The remaining 3 players from Carthage huddled up on the point. Blade coming out from Chicken Fries. Goes dashing in on the Juno. 2 slashes land, but the bubble comes in. V is saved at 1 health. Eric the Red is able to find Snowstorm with that flank. Still playing in deep and will eventually die for this. But finding a kill onto the support will put an end to this attack eventually. We should on paper.
Yeah, and now that we've been fully perched on the line here for a little while now, but Crazy Mage is going to kick it up a little bit more. I mean, this is a tough fight because Ko does have the ultimates in their bag. They should win on paper. I mean,
there's Snowstorm's not in this fight. They did not have the Juno there for the sustain or the speed. I guess you do get one of those 4 ultimates out. Silver lining kind of thing.
Yeah, like
Copium maybe?
Maybe, but like at the same time, this has been a very back and forth match, Jeff. Up until that initial 120 mark, that first push, teams really haven't chained anything together since then. It's been kind of trading fights. So Ko has the best chance to do that here with these 4 ultimates coming up, and everybody in this spawn. Oh, grab is going to be huge if it goes.
Yeah, getting caught in the egg shop is not
no.
ideal. We're heading downstairs.
No.
We're gonna go
We're
in.
going in. We're going deep.
Oh,
we're
we're
going
gonna.
deep.
It worked.
I don't think most players have seen that part of the map aside from spawn. So, wow. Again, still holding on to 4 ultimates, and this is Railgun's going aggressive here. Railgun's probably just going to use it to keep everybody in spawn.
We'll actually hold chicken.
Oh,
And
that's
then you get a 3K Deadeye from Eric the Red, and that will do it. Carthage kept it close. You know, it wasn't quite a 3.5 minute blowout. That it looked like it was gonna be there early, but eventually Ko will cap out here on New Queen Street. Close out your 3-0 in our round of 16 here for Nationals in D5. And what a performance here from Earth in the support role. Be the Lucio, the Kiri. I mean, I can't even say main or flex support. They're just the support player.
Yeah, I mean, from moment 1, as we look back, you'll see they played so many different heroes, from getting 3K boops on the Lucio to the Zenyatta pick, the flex Zenyatta pick that got so much value, into Kiriko, into all these other picks. Ko College, I mean, you can kind of understand now why they were the number 3 seed, right? The flexibility, the ability to play at such a high level and just read the fights correctly.
There's the move.
Just beautifully done. Even here,
I love this.
Brigitte,
I love this
that was
shutdown.
so big.
It's a
so
rally
big.
against a Orbital Ray and Dragon Blade. And the rally's able to win it out. And Earth is able to win it out with just a rally and some good teamwork.
Yeah. I mean, we alluded to the beginning that these support lines were going to be so important and crucial to this, but let's not unshout out Railgun here, who also played, 5 or 6 different tanks throughout the course of the fight and played them well at just commanding levels, just controlling and recognizing when they needed to play into the better matchups. Also just using those grabs like we're playing goats. Like, I can tell Railgun played a ton of goats from where those grabs landed. Like, you can see that just pitting up against the wall, just recognizing, okay, I need to make sure that, like, I capture whatever target I need to isolate, whatever I need to stop doing. They recognized how to use the full potent of Zarya. And not just Zarya, but, like, Doomfist, Orisa, all of those heroes. So a well-deserved W from Ko College.
That's the grab there at the end, throwing it on that sign and just knowing the exact distance, and that was going to grab 3.
That's crazy.
Yeah, expertly placed. And it really shows a masterful understanding of the hero and just of the entire hero pool. It's one thing to play, to just play Zarya extremely well and be a master of Zarya and understand her distancing and stuff. But, 5 or 6 different heroes, all of them looked exceptional. I don't know if it's enough to take the MVP away from Earth, but it was a hell of a performance from Railgun. I can't deny it.
Yeah, no, I think we're all here on planet Earth right now, Jeff. I don't think anybody's taking us off that. I mean, look, for the Firebirds though, like Carthage, look, going out in the round of 16 against a team like Ko is nothing to be ashamed of. You are the 14th seed. Making it into this point into nationals alone is still a big step. And this is kind of a great look to say, like, all right, where are our weaknesses? This is a strong team that we're going to be playing in the next, school year, in the next season of NECC. So you'll know what you're up against. You kind of have some great footage to look back and prep for the next semester.
I mean, making nationals is definitely a feather in the cap of the Firebirds.
Oh yeah.
That is absolutely awesome. You've got a lot of potential there, a lot of great players. Unfortunately, this is a single elim with Division 3 and below. We are in a single elim here for NECC, so we do have to say goodbye to Carthage. But you know what? They'll have a bright future. Can't wait to see him back in fall, hopefully. But, big congrats to Ko as they will move forward here through Nationals. And we're going to continue moving forward through our night. We still have another match yet to bring to you. It is going to be a little bit of an extended break as we wait to get that one set up. But we're going to come back with some Division 2 action here in a little bit. We've got Illinois State Redbird Shikigami U taking on the Broncos. Where are the Broncos from? Where's the Broncos? Oh, wait a minute. I just screwed up my whole outro. It's going to be awesome. Y'all don't go too far. Hydrate, but don't go away. We'll see you back here in a little bit. All right, bye, y'all.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Is a dog been digging in here?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that.
Welcome back this beautiful Friday night. Some NECC Collegiate Overwatch here with Jeff and Sim. We are in Nationals here at NECC, kicking off a 2-week stint that will conclude at the big event taking place in San Antonio here 2 weeks from today, as a matter of fact. We've already had one fantastic matchup with Code College taking the 3-0 over Carthage earlier. We're about to kick into some D2 here for this next one, Sam.
Yeah, jumping up a couple more levels, we've got the number 4 ISU Shikigami U coming up against Broncos Esports Black. And, well, like you said, it's D2. The D1 will be getting played over at the big national LAN, as you noted out. But for these teams, these are the teams that are kind of on the fringe of being close to that tier. We all know ISU, the ISU main squad, as you may know them, cleared and are going to the LAN, but any number of these teams really are kind of fighting for their place, into that D1 bracket. So, this is, I expect this to be a good game, and considering what's, the other teams on this bracket, this is a tough top 8.
It really is, and I think a lot of these teams are fighting to see if, can they make a name for themselves? Can they show themselves to the world that they, maybe they do belong to go up a rung here? Maybe they, belong in D1. I know a lot of teams can be fighting for that. I'm looking at Southern New Hampshire as one that really stands out on that. Of course, the team we're going to be seeing today here in ISU Shikigami University. This was previously known as Redbird Academy, and what a wonderful marrying this has been. You know what? Well, before we get into this fantastic matchup, I would be remiss if you didn't thank our friends over at Wenzel Farms. You got to fuel your game with some Wenzel Farms Snap Sticks. No mess, no distractions, just bold, protein-packed flavor to keep you locked in. Whether you're grinding ranked or leading the squad, Wenzel's keeps you powered up. Grab a stick, stay in the game, crush the competition. Wenzel's Farm, fuel for gamer, flavor for champions.
And we are on our way to crowning a champion starting with today, and we've got those lineups for our two teams. And if you've been following, any of Collegiate, a lot of these players are familiar, particularly on the Shikigami U side. I'm just gonna say, between Carter, between Arise, this is a squad of ISU guys that they are all really good, and they're all consistently fighting to kind of move up or get into that main roster spot. But they're all good players within their own rights. And over for the Broncos, there are some decent, there's some still good players there. Again, like I said, maybe not as known as the Shinkigami squad, but they are in their rights, making their own name.
Yeah, I'm certainly not as familiar with the Bronco players, but they're right neck and neck with this team of players that we are more familiar with. I mean, you're talking about your Bronco, your 5th seed coming into this, to Shikigami's 4th seed, and so even though we may be more familiar with a couple of the names on this side, Destiny is one that definitely stands out. We know that Bronco have some chops, otherwise they wouldn't be here as your 5th seed competing in the upper bracket of this double elim D2 tourney.
Yeah, I mean, it does a cut to 8. This is a double elim. If you had watched earlier, the D5 was single, so this is that point where, we have 8. You get a little bit of leeway, as we kind of saw on the bracket, but, this is kind of those toss-up, and we do have our first map, which is not a toss-up. It is going to be everybody's favorite Lijiang Tower, with Antarctic Peninsula being banned. It was interesting. We were talking about this. I didn't realize, we're constantly seeing the ban, but I guess Antarctic Peninsula is just really one of those maps that I figured nobody scrimmed it, but really nobody wants to see it. Shikigami did not even want to consider it, so back to Lijiang we go. I just didn't know it was that hated universally.
And it's interesting that they banned it out. It almost tells me that they know something, Bronco was they played this one in scrims against them or something, and it's like, ooh, because I'm even surprised that it even pinged the radar enough to warrant a ban. Typically you would think that they would ban something, Samoa or Ilios or something that we see a little bit more often, but still can be a little tricky. So perhaps they know something, and you know what? Considering Broncos are showing us a wild composition,
I don't buy that, Jeff.
Ooh,
No,
okay. I don't disagree with you. There's still 17 seconds for them to change the mean comp. Okay, there's the Ramatra.
There's a little bit more. Yeah, because don't get me wrong, Brawl is kind of king now. If you've been watching VCS, we are still seeing a lot of dive, but down here with us normies, we are seeing a lot more Brawl.
Yes.
Juno, Brig, is, again, a little bit more sturdy of a backline, but it's very interesting to forego the Lucio. Like, Lucio, this is usually the one spot you see the Lucio, so that really tells me both these teams are very all in on protecting the backline, but Arise on the Pharah with no real contest besides Bodo is going to be very interesting because this is a place where Pharah really can excel.
Destiny getting aggressive right out of the gate. Look at all the space. Controlling that entire middle area. Carter has all the room in the world to find that opening pick. And the protection for that back line has been picked off. Shikigami Yu are going to be able to grab first cap out of that. What a swift opening kill.
Yeah, just, again, great map positioning to kind of get that cover and then set up a little bit of a pincer, very short flank for that bridge. But now with the air firmly in Shikigami Yu's control, Arise has all the space to kind of take these flank angles and just control. Like, look at how they're peppering in, making these approaches so difficult for the Broncos squad. It doesn't matter that you're playing the D.Va, which is, you know, aiding in the defensive comp, but you still have to, you really have to deal with Arise before you can even move forward.
Now, I like Bodo's attempt to try to push out wide. I see the vision. There's an aggressive move. Find Dr. Death. Okay, either Briggs struggling to stay alive early in this map. NATO does end up getting DMAC for their trouble. It's a trade on tanks. It's going to mean nothing but squishies left on this point. Carter moves in, sliding aggressively into the back. Gets battered down by a mace and a railgun, and Bronco will flip this.
Okay, yeah, that was a bit aggressive. I guess the fight was lost. You're just trying to stall the point, so I buy that. But
sure.
I'm still kind of not crazy. I don't know how I feel about the Brig into the into the Orisa. You're really assuming that the Orisa is playing more brawl and more aggressive as opposed to a poke. But I guess with how Destiny has been playing, I think that's a safe bet. Look at that. Wow.
Destiny is. I mean, did it first fight, and now once again trying to take team room. See if they can just press all the way through. Use the cover of this building. Try to get across. Fusion still holding on point, kind of scouting this Pharah for this pulse bomb. But Arise, surfing the rooftops, drops in for the barrage, right on top of the Brig. Will not get the rally into this fight. A worthy trade there for Arise. Orbital Ray tossed in, pulse bomb thrown in as well here for Bronco to try to hold on to this. But with Carter's overclock, it's giving them the edge. Jaded goes down despite having their ultimate up, and a late rally out of Dr. Death is going to help them secure this T-room and this fight.
A bit costly for Shikigami Yu, but it was enough to kind of get it, and Fusion will take the slightly later fight. Stopping Broncos at 52, and again, a little bit costly, but I think you're pretty okay with that now that you have the ability to pressure out from these angles between Arise and Carter. This is a lot of a very like slow-moving, very important that they hold these angles and kind of make the Broncos pay as they rotate. Bodo, it does have an overclock of their own, but they're not really in a position to get full advantage of it since they're taking White Room. I'm curious to see what they're going to commit into this.
It's the orbital coming out from Shikigami to try to hold against the rally and the OC, but Bodo gets two. It's going to put another pair into the Orisa to find that one. You're going to give me the Pharah as well? Quick little move out of Arise. Not able to escape those homing missiles, though.
All right, Jeff. To my credit, Bodo shouldn't have gotten all that value, but it helped that the ISU just literally ran into the funnel, really kind of making it a shooting gallery for Bodo. So just a great recognition from them. I think Shikigami played that a little off, but that's still fine. Back to the neutral we go. So a little bit of an edge to Broncos, so they need to kind of get some early picks here if they want to hold this out.
Once again, rotation from Shikigami into the T-room. They're going to send Arise onto the point. He's moved over to a Tracer. Recall forced out early with a little help from Platonic. Fusion's able to find that pick and a 5-4 in this fight. Dropping a pulse bomb. That won't quite hit the target. Quick dash through their own heart. Staying outside of the T-room for the moment, but just blinking away. And there's been a couple of picks going Broncos' favor despite this ultimate out from Destiny. Bronco are looking to take this final fight. 99% on the board. Do get a touch on the objective, but it's Arise alone in a 1v4.
Yeah, I mean, you have Sortex coming back in the Lucio as well, so you're going to be able to get a little bit, but I don't really like these odds. Points taking down Arise is not anywhere at a point. Just realized I don't even think Arise was hoping maybe someone would get there, but a little bit of a feel like it's a miscall there. I like the D.Va pick a little bit better on that. You have a little bit more mobility and defensive into the aggressive play that ISU was trying to make. I'm still a little like I get the Brig, I get the defensive Brig, but I kind of wish we had played the Lucio with Orisa being such a slow-moving comp. You don't want to give up the Juno ring just to kind of rotate around, right? Like, I feel like you kind of really want that to match it around. Numbers seem fairly, you know, for the most part, they kind of feel like what they should be. Most of Broncos are in double digits. Like, healing's about even. I think Shikigami just kind of, unfortunately, are a little bit outclassed in that. And again, we're not seeing any Lucios. I kind of really like. I like it's working for the Broncos. I see no reason to change it, but I do think that Shinkigami on that Orisa was like, it's just a little too slow moving. I really do think they should have probably kept the Lucio, but they obviously are. They obviously have their set plays and this is the comp they worked on, so they obviously trust in it.
I can see where the double speed would be beneficial, but also there was a little bit of taking the engagements. We felt like she always wanted to go fast. And that benefited them on a couple of fights, but more often than not, they kind of got punished for it. It felt like so.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, if you, like, with how aggressive Arise was playing, not Arise, it was Arise. With how aggressive they were playing, it feels like you wanted the Lucio. It feels like you really wanted to be running it with a little bit of extra speed. So, you know, say what you will, but.
And part of that was the Pharah pick, you know.
Yeah, part of it was the Pharah as well too.
Pharah does a lot better defensively. And, you know, it's harder to retake with that. And then when moving through White Room, the Pharah lost some value there, so they tried to get aggressive. And the Pharah, you know, that's when, you know, Arise struggled to kind of get in the fight for that fight. The big overclock comes out from Boto in that one. So, I mean, part of it was just kind of the nature of the Pharah pick, I think, as well. It was a culmination of things. But I think your point is still very valid, and we are both teams sticking with the Brig Judo coming into Control Center. Now, this map is a little bit more straightforward, not as much rotations typically through here.
No, but what is interesting is Bodo still on the Sojourn versus Carter over to the Cassidy. A little bit more short, a little bit more bursty. But, I mean, Destiny's got hands. Destiny just wins that. And, I mean, you can just win that out, too. That's kind of the difference, right, is Carter can play in with the Ramatra and therefore make it a little bit easier to kind of put pressure onto the frontline tank, whereas Bodo's really playing for picks in the back line. So I'd be curious to see if that stays and we don't match the Cassidy. Still in the neutral, I now with the positional advantage for Shikigami U. This is going to be a tough push in.
Shikigami do wait this one out. Do not go fast in this fight. They're going to draw Bronco Esports into the Cassidy. You see Carter was kind of waiting there. Once again, shoulder to shoulder with Destiny, just as you were talking about. Bronco now playing on those short sight lines, but Jaded finds the kill onto that cast. Takes so much damage out of the Shikigami composition. Now Boto aggressively pushing in. Has to one off the Tracer. Put some shots in, but ICU able to strike back. This has gotten messy, and Destiny's now throwing in an Annihilation. Perfect for a cleanup in a messy fight.
Yeah, you'll take that, especially because it gets you over the halfway mark now, and the last late stagger is going to be so big. Maybe you wanted that back, but I don't think you're too concerned about it. You have both of your support ultimates coming on. Ado is the only one with has the kind of difference maker in their own Annihilation now. So if Ado goes down without casting the Annihilation, I would say you're probably fine for Shikigami since you have the positional advantage of where you want to set up his Deadeye.
Destiny got down to about half health, but I think Bronco had already spent their speed ring. They did not engage on it. Here comes the push. Aggressive positioning from Fusion, trying to isolate Carter. The speed ring thrown in is a little pressure relief valve here from Shikigami. Carter's going to go ahead and pop their Deadeye as well. Looking for some skulls down the hallway, but nobody peeks. Rise punishes Bodo, though. They were stuck in place by that Deadeye. Easy pickings for a Tracer. Now the Tracer goes dash in, but immediately shut down. No pulse bomb for you. Rally retake coming in from Plutonic. There's one from Dr. Death as well, and the two are going to clash face-to-face on this corner. Ado's going to punch through Dr. Death's shield. Destiny looking to return the favor. Plutonic took a lot longer to die, though. Destiny gets punished in that time.
And no Annihilation spent for the side of the Broncos, so that is huge. That means going into the next fight, they just have the ultimate, slight advantage with Fusion not using their Pulse Bomb. It's been tough, very back and forth on these kind of matched. Bodo is going to go over to the Genji. I do like that a little bit more pressure. You can still play kind of closer into that frontline tank fight to kind of deflect some of those Cassie shots if you want, or you can help Fusion on the flanks. My bet is they're going to try to play trying to double flank onto the back line and just put pressure that way. Great stick.
Beautiful. What an opener.
Huge.
Destiny at half health is going to go ahead and pop the Annihilation defensively. Carter finds Fusion, though. On the back pedal. Shikigami has their back against the wall. They lash out.
Wow. I mean, the Broncos were just kind of stuck together, so I can see that being the right call, but That's a shame. Rarely do you see an opening pulse bomb like that kind of get turned in that way, but I think that really does show you how tuned the ISU squad is, right? Like, they see the pulse bomb go down, they know they can commit ults in and win on that fight, and for a lot of teams, that's the moment you say, oh, we lost one, let's just get out and reset. But for the ISU squad, they were trained better. They know that we can win this with the ultimates we have.
Fantastic shooting from Carter to make it happen right here.
Yeah.
Carter able to just kind of sidestep, doesn't actually roll from the pulse bomb, waits for it to separate themselves, create some distance in that duel once they recognized where Ado was coming in. Not Ado, excuse me. What was it? Fusion was coming in from?
Yeah.
And yeah, that was very well played. Wow, that fight turned on a dive.
Dive, yeah. That was one of those moments where you really couldn't, you really can't predict how Overwatch is going to play. The quick Symmetra out. Back to the Ramatras here. They finally are going to match the Cassidy. I do think this is better. We're in much more of a close range brawl. Still a little less dependent, though, on like the speed ring itself. But I do think that now we're looking at the DPS matches. It's going to really come down to these Tracer fights and who kind of gets caught out or who pushes maybe a little too far into the Cassidys.
Fusion Dales on their own Tracer duel for a moment. Actually, a little bit of a swap there with a rise as far as positioning, seeing as Shikigami, you have their back up against the coast. But Ado is looking to claim that space, moves in, plants a flag on the coastline in the name of Bronco Esports.
A lot of it was Fusion's ability to multitask. You kind of called out that Fusion was disengaging and just recognizing that, look, if I can make the 4v5 and make it work, that's great. That gives us the advantage. We can turn the fight. You don't necessarily need to win. Oh, what a shot. You don't necessarily need to win a Tracer duel if you can win the other side of the fight. So great recognition from that. And now with an extra pick, they buy plenty more time to just hold these gates.
Ado immediately shifts on the right-hand side and moves back to stuff main. Backing up, still a couple seconds towards all their cooldowns, and here comes Destiny and Nemesis 4.
Already
was hoping to
Annihilation.
catch some supports with the Colats. Now the Annihilation is up and arises. Bo picked up 2 while this is happening. This is a wicked fast ult build up here from Ado, but it may not be enough to swing this fight. The point has gone into Shikigami's favor. They're a player down. Fusion is able to strike back, but Destiny once again is there to match.
Maybe a little too, just kind of saw the moment and thought they could do it and take it. It was, again, maybe a little. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got nothing for that one.
Not seeing the vision on that one. Not seeing
Yeah,
the vision
not-
on that one.
Not really sure on that one. Maybe we're getting off of Cassidy.
Oh,
Sure.
Arise is going to escort you, give you a little
wow.
help in that.
Yeah. Whew. Okay. Yeah. I mean, with Broncos Esports, unfortunately, kind of whiffing 2 of those ults. I'm looking at this pulse bomb. Fusion has to come up big. Fusion's kind of been one of the top players for this Broncos team, and they need to keep popping off. But Death has got their number right now.
That's
Oh,
it.
what a stick.
That's what they
Huge.
needed.
Huge.
And then what a swinging point. Shikigami U with 2 support ults in the pocket. This could have
Jeez.
gone very far the other direction, but Carter has put 2 on the board. It's a 3v2 favoring Shikigami. Fusion puts it into a 2v2. It's tanks left on this point. Annihilation pop from Destiny, and Ado just doesn't have the health to stick around.
Just unfortunate ultimate advantage to the side of Shikigami, but that was, again, a great opener. Fusion continues to make great moments of success for this Broncos team.
Plutonic tried to pounce on Destiny, who was 1 health. Plutonic pops the rally to try to give the edge over, but can't get it done, and now that ult just falls flat.
Same with the Orbital Ray, though, too. The Orbital Ray was thrown out there, and I assume a little bit defensively, but, I mean, these ultimates have just been kind of everywhere. It's such a frantic game between these 2 teams.
Mirage trying to push it from the back by Fusion once again with some beautiful control. Annihilation available for Ado, and looks like Shikigami kind of cut in a corner here. Ado had an opportunity, and Shikigami, you won't give him a chance to pull the trigger. Rotation through back towards Main Street, where Fusion is waiting for him, 85% towards their next ultimate. Ado comes to hold the front line. Both DPS move out towards Coast. Arise looking to push in that direction, but there's a lot of guns pointing their way. Meanwhile, Shikigami is starting to push through the front door. Fusion does not land that pulse on the outside. 60% and counting on the board here for Bronco.
I see Ido going deep. Woo! He gets 1, 2.
He gets 2! And he's going to chase down Dr. Death here. Off the side goes the Brig. 69% and counting. Nice.
That's as good as you're going to get out of that. But a great acknowledgement to just reset for Shikigami. So just great, well played from them. Arise is going to get out of dodge for now, but the Broncos are coming into a few more ults. Carter's going to get matched for that high noon. So we're kind of heading into an even fight here as we hit the even numbers of 85 counting. So last fight territory. Oh, Okay.
The showdown.
That's
The
the
OK Corral.
Wow.
There's only room in this town for one cowboy. That cowboy is Carter, apparently. Shikigami, you get the
truly.
flip. We're going to 99.99 here, Sam.
Ye and also ha, Jeff.
Punch up into the high ground. Jaden ripped out of the skies. Destiny pops the ultimate rally in response. Plutonic still scared to kind of poke out from that doorway. Fusion's going to back away. Gotta get to this point.
Touch.
Bronco barely gets there in the nick of time. Do they have anything left? Fusion dies. It's going to be up to Ado to muscle in, get some point presence for real, but Carter has got the aim, has cleared off the flanks. There's no DPS here for Bronco to work with, and a rally and an orbital from Shikigami. They've got all the tools in the world to clean this up. It's going to be a 1-0 lead to kick off this Nationals upper bracket quarterfinals.
I mean, Carter has been the sharpshooter. I mean, you saw it right there. Won the showdown and then cleaned up the rest of those fights. I think that this is going to be such a DPS-heavy game, Jeff, and I think this is going to be one of those moments where we have to watch not just the hit scans, but also the Tracer players, because we're seeing, you know, those 1v1s happen, and not even just the winner of that, just who is paying more attention to the greater fight, the greater, you know, whole game of Overwatch really kind of dictate it. Because while Carter has been shooting great in the team fights, it's been players like Fusion who have really kind of decided some of these outcomes by just hitting a pulse bomb or, you know, knowing when to help out with the team.
When being able to control the flank and just put in that little bit of extra damage on the front line, doing both. Fusion really had a spectacular map. Yeah, oh, yes. Yes, it is.
I do not envy these Tracers, and that is, I think, really, again, going to be like the kind of the thing to consider going into these future maps is where do you want to be playing. We saw a little more flexibility out of Bodo in regards to like playing hit scan. We saw the Genji flex, so we saw a little bit more out of that. I do kind of think the Broncos may be holding something a little bit down the road here. Maybe they have more of a dive in their back pocket. I kind of hope they do, because I do feel like with a solid dive, Fusion can take over this game.
100%. I will say, I mean, there's some methodical looking pulses in there.
Yes.
From Fusion.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it just, the setup has the exact vision. Okay, I'm going to blink here, here's my path of calculations, there's the math, go. I mean, it just, you can see how methodical it is. It's amazing. Yeah, this could be a banger, and on the back of what you're talking about with how good that Broncos looked with that high mobility, would not surprise me for them to take, you know, to more high ground oriented map. They have a very powerful pick here with being able to choose between hybrid and escort.
Well, we do know that they did choose hybrid, so Shinkigami will get the ban. My guess is we're probably getting rid of one of our favorites, Jeff Numbani, unfortunately, is my guess, because that is a very high ground centric map. There's still plenty of other options, but I do feel like you're probably going to do that. My guess is probably we're going to Blizzard World. If there's a chance we want to try to force maybe a positional-based battle, which we've seen that Fusion's really has that kind of keen Tracer awareness and has the understanding of how to try to fight for that space control and where to play. I do think Blizzard World offers a lot of benefits for that. Yeah. But it also wouldn't just shock me if we end up at King's Row just because they want to play the Pharah in some ways. Like, that also wouldn't just shock me.
I mean, it was Arise. We saw more on the Pharah.
Oh, no, sorry, Arise. You're right.
So... No, I mean, it was still, because Bronco could still plan to play a Pharah here. I mean, it's a really good pick on this map. I mean, what you said is still 100% true. But because Arise is looked so good on that Pharah, I would be surprised. I think, honestly, you were cooking with the we'll get a Numbani ban and a Blizzard World pick. Like, I think you were honestly cooking with that.
The other option, because the other option to me that, like, maybe if you really want to commit to a dive map is, like, Hollywood. But I would love
to see some Hollywood. I haven't seen Hollywood in forever.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see Hollywood, but I just don't imagine that that's a map that a lot of teams have scrimmaged. Unless you're like a very dive-heavy team, I don't think you're playing that. So, like, if we're gonna try to match the brawl, and if we're the Broncos, I still think Blizzard World's probably the best pick. But I do think if they have maybe a dive in their pocket, maybe there's something a little bit of extra, they have a chance, because it's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Blizzard World also gives you just room to run a variety of things. You can
Yes.
kind of change your
Very
mind on
flexible.
Blizzard World. Yeah. And so
Yes.
if you're like, we want to start and dive, but hey, the dive's not working, you can swap to
Yes.
a more brawl style composition, and it's still very applicable on that map. You can still have a lot of good strategies, even utilizing the high ground and stuff. We do, in fact, get a parry ESO ban. So,
All right, wrong part of South America.
but still similar in theme and vibe.
Yeah.
Like your reasoning
Yeah.
was still 100% on point
Yeah.
here. So
Yeah.
far it tracks.
Yeah, on GeoGuessr, I'd get penalized for my distance, but close enough.
But it'd still be accurate. But yeah.
Still close enough. It is going to be King's Row, though, Jeff.
Oh. Okay.
So. All right, you showed us a diva, I guess. So you have like some dive. I'm not crazy. Like I don't hate that. Diva's still very strong on 1 and 3 of King's Row. If that's like your dive of choice as diva, like I don't hate that. My concern is that if you're gonna try to play the Brig X backline, it may just kind of get overrun. You need to be playing a full mobility of like Kiriko Lucio or like even like Kiriko Juno would probably be a little bit better, but like you kind of need to be mobile because we've seen what happens when ISU gets the chance to take the space and run things down. Yeah. So I think this is going to be a very interesting King's Row, if for no other reason than I don't see the vision for the Broncos right now.
I will say, I mean, though we didn't get the May in the first map here, we saw a lot of May
True.
Cass in our first series of the night. And Cass got the range buff in Season 15, and we just got May with a big buff here in this recent patch on Tuesday. It wouldn't surprise me if that is actually just becoming more and more meta. If we're seeing just more teams scrim the brawl, and this is becoming, hey, this is what we're scrimming right now. Everybody's kind of playing May Cass, Ramatra. And that's just what we're leaning into.
Yeah. You know, I don't hate that, though, because like you were saying, with those changes that come in, one of the things that players prefer to do is go to things that are comfortable. For a lot of Korea, we see that as dive. For a lot of NA and some EU, it tends to be things like brawl. It tends to be things like Maycast or, you know, things that are very short range and very simple to execute on paper until you kind of see what works, until you can kind of practice. So I think you're right, Jeff. I think that's very possible.
I think there's a really cool caveat to this, just based on that. So Arise is a South Korean player playing here for Shikigami U. And we've already seen them. We talked about the dangers of this map because of Arise already showing us a proficiency on that Pharah. So if the defense does roll out in this brawl-heavy May cast, no real long range, no real flankers to deal with, Arise is going to take over on a Pharah, man. I'm telling you, like, Haskin is going to come out with that South Korean brain and be like, oh, I can pick this apart.
Yeah, nothing mean to the Broncos, but considering like Bato really struggled against the Pharah on that first submap, it does kind of lend to that credence. So this is where I was kind of saying earlier, I kind of wonder if maybe we accidentally played into what Shikigami wants to do. No changes coming in from either side. I hope the Broncos are cooking up something good here, because like I said, we were in the bookstore, and I feel like the ISU crew kind of already know how this is going to play out.
Yeah, they've read all these books.
They've read this, yeah. Like,
okay, Tracer Sojourn backline. So there's a big answer right there. This is going to be a little bit more high ground play and a little bit more, map control. Perhaps even putting everybody on high ground, just leaving the Tracer in hotel or Tracer and Ido on low ground. Does look like they're keeping the Brig down low, which is an interesting choice. You would typically put the Brig up on that high ground to help protect Jaded and Boto.
Well, I assume that's Boto's job then. With that, we're going to use the field more defensively for maybe a counter dive, or maybe just to kind of, we assume we're not playing a dive. I kind of think that's like a bold decision, considering this is ISU. They're a very flexible, good squad. You have to assume they maybe have that in their pocket. I wouldn't be shocked if they switch right into that, actually, after. Purple lands, that's a little bit of damage, but yeah, I think now we're going to be looking at the long-term duel here. So if there's no dive, I do think they're just leaving, they feel comfortable to just say, okay, we feel like we can take the 2-3 split and trust that our ground game is going to win.
I do love this aggressive positioning out of Fusion. Isn't taking it either. This is a bit of scouting. Has recognized the Genji, perhaps going to drop down onto the Juno. That's exactly what we're looking for. Looking for Sortex there. Kind of dancing around statue. Sortex dips into the mini. And that forces Fusion into Carter's sight lines. Good cover to Rise with the finish. Well played there out of ISU on that attack, but Rise overextends to find that kill. Ends up being a trade on a DPS 4v4. Destiny with some map controls. Nemesis form out. Looking to punch through the brig. And the entirety of Bronco Esports now having to fight their way back onto their own defense. They do manage to speed ring out, and Shikigami back away.
Yeah, they recognize they just don't have the cooldowns to manage that, so they're going to just poke a little bit more, and once they get him back, they will aggress again, just like this.
Seems like it is Shikigami's turn. Votu has the slide if they wanted to get out of this trouble, but just stood there, nose to nose with Destiny, trading with the punches and railgun. There's 86% towards an overclock already, by the way, y'all. This is wicked fast ult charge coming through from Bodo. A lot of damage just being thrown in Destiny's face, but the sustain has been good.
It's been good, but they lost all, they gave up all the map control, Jeff, so now they're kind of playing from this. They need something to open this up, and it has to, I guess that's going to be Bodo's, maybe this overclock putting some pressure on. It has to be something from the flank angle.
Because with an aggressive push kind of towards the garage, Bodo's still hesitant to go through a hotel. They're just going to drop this overclock right out of the back line. But Destiny immediately gets in their face. Just play it out of Main Street. Destiny knew where to go, but it's been a 2-for-1 on the back of a Pulse and an Annihilation here from this Bronco defense. Sortex is going to go ahead and throw in an orbital. Jaded has array of their own. Destiny looking to chase down a target. Can't lock down Plutonic. Plutonic is actually going to pick up Sortex in that ring around the Rosie, and Destiny has no more friends.
I love this. This has been slow, methodical play from the Broncos, and this is where we saw them succeed, is when they slowed down the game on map 1. Shikigami, they win by being faster, by catching them off guard, and unfortunately that just took too long to do here. There's a minute 30, still plenty of time left, and Pluto did hold on to their rally. It's matched by death, and Carter is the difference. Carter and Arise, the DPS line, do have their ultimates up, so again, I'm kind of watching, because if Arise, you know, if Plutonic isn't aware of where Arise is going to get so much value from this blade.
There's the rally out of death already. Is this just going to be a free cap? Oh, there's a touch in the last possible second. But the rally is too much, and Arise is able to hold on to that blade. Carter did invest the OC and got a kill out of Plutonic with it.
It's something. You'd rather much give up that lower value ult, I think, whereas Arise, like you said, can now carry this up, especially because ISU have probably been tracking this. They are probably very aware that there's nothing in the way of Arise's blade, so they're going to set up Arise for success and maybe try to set up a pincer maneuver for them to get value here.
And I mean, that OC also shut down Rally. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
True.
But yeah,
no,
taking that Rally out of that
right.
fight was huge. So yeah, one kill to take the Rally down, totally worth.
That's huge. Yeah, like you said, that is it. They got everything they wanted out of that overclock. So Arise is now set up for success here, and it'll be met by the Annihilations, but Arise is the difference maker.
Oh, was hunting. Bodo was caught unaware. The leap already used, but no. Where's he dashing into? Can't even get in. Orias had the dash, but didn't want to spend it wisely. Was scared off, and you can see why. Now Destiny's going to try to push in. Since the first ultimate failed, let's see if Plan B can get it done here for Shikigami U. Has a couple of supports isolated here in the alley, but a quick move out of Jaden gets him back up to safety. Down low, Fusion lands a stick. Oh, trades it out with Dr. Death.
That's the at least second or third of those pulse bombs hit, and the Broncos are just going to turn it back. No one, I mean, they could have maybe thrown in that Annihilation of their own, but none needed here. Shikigami, just a rare kind of misstep. Like you said, Arise kind of maybe pulled the trigger a little too early, thinking I had the Sojourn low, saw the turned the corner, saw the team, and went, well, I have nothing here. I'm just going to try to get out of the dodge. And now Broncos, they're in great position to close this out. Ooh.
And Arise gets caught again trying to set up for an aggressive play. Now Ado's able to push forward with the Annihilation just as an emergency measure. Still not even really needed. Bronco are in control of this defense right now.
4 ultimates now and counting. Fusion did go over to match the Genji, but you know, Blade's long ways away. This, I mean, it's so unfortunate for Shikigami. They only have this orbital ray and nothing to really pair with it. Eventually, if they poke long enough, they'll get it. But I mean, it's just going to get overrun by the Broncos here.
A perfect engage out of Jaden.
Yeah.
I mean, the speed
Great
ring,
call.
you get the orbital out before you turn the corner, so Jaded doesn't, make the move that we've seen time and time again, where the Juno just gets immediately murked.
Yeah.
The moment they throw the orbital down, well positioned, well timed. One ultimate, one fight win.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about when I said the Broncos, if they slow the game down, they look like the better team. I don't know what it's going to be. We're even. The only kind of difference maker is that the Shikigami U squad has their orbital ray, and it has to get value.
Carter comes out with the OC. Orbital ray is in fact thrown in. Well positioned, it's around the second corner to take this long hallway, but now Plutonic's rally is up, and this final corner can be dangerous. Rise is able to dash through Fusion, take care of their counterpart, and is working around the alley for a big flank. Bodo with an overclock low, wrestled down by the annihilation of Destiny. Rally's still going on this point from Dr. Death, and it's enough to keep Shikigami U alive for a second point cap.
Nick of time, but it was the right call there. It cost them a lot, but this is what I was talking about. Shikigami went aggressive. They committed their orbital ray into it. That was the only advantage they had, and they needed to use it. They got value out of it. The reward was another minute and a half. Back to the neutral, though, Jeff. Arise is slightly ahead in the Blade fight, but Arise needs to not get caught out here. They've been punished twice. They cannot afford to kind of make a misstep like they have in the past, so really eyes on Arise here.
And this is such a dangerous spot to set up, trying to steal the center high ground. It's so tough. Destiny's going to clear the way like a bulldozer all the way. Forces Plutonic right back into the respawn. But now how do you get out?
Yeah. I'll say, I think, again, that was a little bit of a mistiming because I think you were expecting maybe Arise to have Blade and go in, and you can kind of see where it was like I was waiting for a follow-up.
Yep.
It just never really came. So, I mean, there's still time. Still one fight left as we're under a minute. And still Arise has this Blade. There's no Annihilation really forced into it. But again, the aggression of Shikigami U, regardless of that, if they can force the Broncos back and kind of get the positioning and the sight lines, they're in a good spot.
Watching for the Arise setup. We're caught in a ravenous vortex there. Force to use their deflex a little early. Not ideal. No, up in a bit of dual window control. Wants to get across the setup to get in striking distance of these supports. Takes the dash through into the hallway. Fusion's going to be the one to pull the trigger. Wise stays patient while there's a beam blade on the other side. Arise is going to end up watching Fusion chop through all their teammates.
Oh, poor Arise knows that they missed their opportunity and has to just wait for the touch. Yeah. I mean, they have Blade. Maybe if they pull it early, they can get some value, but you can't count on this. Oh, wow.
For Shikigami, but Jadek picks up two with the torpedoes. Bodo has an OC, and there's an Annihilation going. And even though Arise is going to cut through one, there's just too many bodies left here. Now, Destiny's still up, but that is temporary. Gets the Annihilation just in time. Dr. Death's going to try to make it back on Lucio. Shikigami U hanging on by a thread here, Sam, but they are hanging on.
I don't know how much longer.
There went the thread.
Yeah. Oh, Jeff. ISU had such a good run, but I think the one word, if I had to summarize that up, just mistiming. Just so many times it felt like the ISU guys, or whether it's Arise maybe taking a little too long to pull the Blade, or Destiny going a little too aggro and the Blade just not being there. It felt like everything they needed, like the plan was there, but something was wrong. It's like the Wile E. Coyote. Just everything was set up right, and something just backfires on you.
I mean, really, time and time again, this Blade's an excellent example. Like, okay, we cleaned off that back corner. I'm going to pull the Blade, but look at Destiny wasn't quite there yet. Yeah, it was still a couple steps behind. So all guns from Bronco were just looking right at Arise.
Gosh, yeah. And then even then, that particular beam was just perfectly timed. Shikigami wasn't ready for it. They're not used to being the ones caught off guard, and here it is again. Destiny goes deep, trades the pick, and then realizes, what am I doing? I have no line of sight to my healers. I have nothing to follow it up, and it's tough. I mean, wow. It's even across the board. Like, it's really even. There's a little bit more healing for the side of the Broncos, but it's a fairly neck-and-neck game, but you can see the difference in Ido and Destiny there. Ido just has a few more kills, is more involved in so much more of those fights, whether it's because they're not making plays or they're playing a little bit safer. The difference is in the tanks, unfortunately.
Yeah, maybe it's just because of Bodo's Sojourn, but we never did see that far come out. I thought particularly with him kind of stuck on point B. That Arise
Yeah.
might have gone into the Pharah, but has you know, is standing by this Genji through thick and thin here on Kings.
Yeah, again, it's probably one of their better heroes. I don't hate it. I don't know that we're also staying a little too long on this Widow, but like I don't hate the Genji here. I just do think you've had a few problems with it. But there was the dash through, manages to get out, and again, I think the Broncos are just a little bit more in control of the pace of the game here, Jeff. They're setting these fights, and it's all going their way.
Ooh. Dash perfectly plays, goes all the way through the hotel, and some wonderful ult charge. Goes through 3, and then there, Carter follows it up. You get a free dash reset for Arise, and Carter gets a 3-piece. Looking for 4 here. Fusion will make it to the mini, comes back out, lands a triple shot. Carter getting some heals, though, and Fusion has none. Carter just waits it out. Oh! Fusion makes it to the Mega.
Okay, so with knowledge that Fusion's in the back line, it still makes the approach a little bit more difficult and maybe pulls Carter's attention. But again, maybe, you know, Carter has been a consistent hit scan, has been a consistent damage in the back, and that's huge.
Arise waiting for Fusion on the reapproach. Just that was ow.
That was brutal.
That was a clinical schooling put on by Arise.
Yeah.
Deflects on
what
the
a deflect
disruptor?
too.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. Like I said, like the Arise Genji is good. It's just come down to like the mistimings, but now it seems like the engine is firing on all the cylinders. Even with these ults coming in, Nano Blade's up, there's an Annihilation. This looks like the Shinkigami U I think we're used to seeing, Jeff.
Yeah, Bronco had to completely back away from the front door. The nade didn't land, but it forced Bronco out of that choke. So Arise now trying to take advantage of that, where Bronco kind of had to just scramble into corners. They've lost Jaden through this rotation, and Shikigami maintaining control and some deep pressure.
Yeah, all 5 up on the side of Shikigami U. Broncos Fusion, as we kind of saw, getting a little bit behind, getting schooled there, but it's probably going to be all in here with a minute 30, Jeff, because this is probably going to be the best chance for the Broncos to go forward. So they need to kind of layer these appropriately to get value.
Boto's going to pop with the OC. Here comes the Nano Blade out of Arise. Boto gets nothing out of the overclock. Purpled and chopped in half. Ado now just pops Q and runs forward. Catches Carter isolated around Statue. Now eyes on Destiny. Destiny low pops her own overclock plutonic with a rally for some extra sustain here, but Ado's Annihilation has faded. Destiny's still looking a little unhealthy on this point, and Fusion's got a blade in the back line with no Ana and soon to be no Juno. There's going to be no hope for Destiny.
Ooh. Well, Arise, it looks like the student has surpassed the master there. But it is true that the later ult always does get, a little bit more of the win in this game. One more. It'll be Arise to hang around and maybe get a last-second touch. There's still an orbital array. It's not even worth it, yeah. Just go back to spawn, reset, take the later fight.
I mean, yeah, I almost want to just die on point there.
Yeah.
Now you've gotten back spawns if you're Arise.
Yeah, I get it. You're kind of, again, in a bad position, kind of, wrong day late, dollar short situation.
Yep.
But Shikigami does have the ultimates in their favor here. They do have the overclock going into this orbital array, so a little more firepower. They hold this position and set up the crossfire. So playing to the positioning of this bookstore is going to be so crucial for their win. Or just getting Fusion.
I think clearing off that flank was really important. Well played out of death. The OC from Carter hasn't really found much yet. Now, Destiny trying to take advantage of all the space created. Will 5 plutonic there by the phone booth. Looks like they will get out this time.
I mean, that's fine. You'll trade a fight win for an overclock. Okay.
Oh,
that's a quick aggression.
Engage from Bronco. Yeah, they're just going to ambush. Carter low, the dash through, the punches. It's too much for them to deal with. And what a well-timed re-engage out of Bronco.
I actually really love that. That was smart.
Same.
Because, the Broncos realized that, look, we are winning in the tank fight, so let's just try to enable Ado to kind of do their thing. They are clearly winning, putting out more damage, and kind of winning on that, whereas Shikigami U is really kind of dependent on the DPS line. So, two different ways that they're trying to get the outcome of this comp. Unfortunately for the Broncos, it's Annihilation versus this orbital ray, and this is a tough matchup. Like, the ray should get more value, especially when it's going to get used on this corner right into the Broncos as they round the corner.
The sleep lands on the Ado mid-Annihilation. The orbital ray is out as well, and everything coming up Shikigami and U on this point so far. Ado is going to trade out one, but I think that's going to be pretty inconsequential here by the time it's said and done. Carter with a beautiful shot.
Yeah, like I said, you were able to cast that that orbital ray from behind the safety, and you knew that the Broncos were going to be right on the other side of it. So just beautiful set play from them, recognizing that. And now they go into this with the better sight lines, so Bodo's not really going to be able to have, short of getting that kind of high ground angle, they're not going to have great sight lines for this, and especially playing into the Nano Annihilation.
Or Nano Blade.
Yeah, or
They have
Nano Blade.
options.
Like, they have options of what they want to do. They're primed to close this out, Jeff.
Multiple ways to punish. And it's
Here
going to
it
be
is.
the dash up, and it's going to be the blade, in fact, that gets the nano boost against the OC. Ultimate versus ultimate. Bodo slides away, but cannot create enough space. Cannot escape the katana of Arise. Dash up into the window. Job done there from the Genji.
Yep. There was enough time for the Broncos to kind of reset and maybe get a touch here, but again, they're still playing into a very difficult space. The good thing for them is they do have two ultimates. They have a Blade, they have a Rally, and they're going to send Ado in just to try to hold and sustain. This big, beefy Samoan is going to be in there to hold the ground, but he's going to get drained right out from the Annihilation. Oh, slept
Just get
immediately.
slept. That may have been before the overrun hit, too, because I thought I heard the overrun start and then get slept before the iframe say, okay, there's one final overrun just in the nick of time, and you managed to get Carter with that as well. That
That's
could not
huge.
have worked out any better
Yeah.
for Ado.
Okay, real talk though, I actually really love this change. Like, Malga may have taken some hits, but considering Ado is winning the tank fight, I actually really love this. This puts so much more control into Ado's hand to kind of just overrun Destiny. I hope they stay on this. I think this might actually be the way they win.
And just to note on that chain, I mean, Cardiac Overdrive does not give damage reduction to your teammates
Yes,
anymore,
not
so a
anymore.
fairly significant nerf to that critical ability of the Maga. But have seen a little bit of success. We are still going to go ahead and see that swap based on Maga not being as strong. 75 seconds to go
fair.
here.
Yeah, fair. Still time for one more fight back into the neutral. Both orbital rays will be up, and Fusion is gone. Wow.
Fusion finds themselves down there with the Omnix with no cooldowns to dash back up. There's one Nemesis form, kind of forces Bronco away as they wait for their Genji to get back in this fight.
I mean, they might try to keep pushing, though. They have the spawn advantage. I wouldn't be shocked if they, again, just go aggressive with Laser and Bado's overclock. I wouldn't be shocked if they try to push this.
Fusion is here. Now's the time.
Yeah.
There's the Ray coming through the corner, thrown right onto the box of victory. Sortex does answer with one of their own, and Arise has got first blood. Bodo trades, but it's a 4v3, favoring the defense. Make it a 3v2. Destiny gives the edge over. One last fight for Kings Row.
Nano is the difference maker. 30 seconds, though, and the spawns are still very close. Ado does have built Annihilation fairly quickly there, so that is the only ult on board. Destiny's a little bit behind. If they can get to the touch and cast theirs first, they might actually be in a better position to hold this out. Cassidy now, no, okay, they're going to stay the Sojourn.
I swear Destiny was like at 40% when Ado swapped off
Yeah.
the Maga. Like,
Yeah.
that is such a fast
so quick.
annihilation.
That's so quick, yeah, genuinely.
Arise with the blade here. 2 seconds to go. One fight for the map. Arise playing out of the window. Dash through from Fusion. Trying to control. Knows the blade is imminent. We got the annihilations out from both of our teams. And here comes the Katana. The Dragon Blade slides through Platonic. The Kitsune rushes off the battlefield. Bronco needed that so bad. They will not get that critical tool into this. It's on the back of Ado. And Ado has a speck of health. A sliver of life. A sliver of hope. And now it is going to be a 2-0 match point here for Shikigami.
It was definitely hard fought for the Shikigami squad, though. They definitely had moments where you could definitely see there were cracks in the armor, and I think a lot of it came from players like Destiny, where I kind of alluded to it, but like Destiny's been playing well on tank, but you're really dependent on whether Arise and the rest of the whether Arise is keeping up and playing along with you. Kind of similar to how a dive works, where you're really kind of hoping for the DPS to clean up, whereas the Broncos, again, like I kind of shouted it out, they're winning fights on the back of Ado and on the back of the tank line. So I really do think that if the Broncos want to win and stay alive, they kind of need to force that fight instead.
They got to do something magical. They got to give us something else in the pocket. We're going to take a quick break. Give them a minute to figure out what that could be. They'll have map pick when we return on push. We'll see you there in a minute.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
It was a hotly contested Kings Row that went down to the absolute final fight. Our opening map of Lijiang went to 199 round 3. It's been extremely close, but nevertheless, it's a 2-0 lead here for ISU Shikigami University. Sam, what can the Broncos do? Where do you go for push? How do you bounce back from that? Do you try to just go back into the mirror again, or do we try something fresh?
I don't think you can take the mirror, Jeff. I really just don't think you can, because you're playing two different games. I think you're just playing two different games. Right now, ISU Shikigami, they're playing essentially kind of a dive. They're winning on the back of the DPS. They're winning on, a Genji. They're winning on flankers. Whereas your highest scoring, your best performer on the Broncos side has been your tank. So I think if you're going to go into push with something in mind, find something that allows you to play a Junker Queen, a Zarya, something where you can kind of maybe get a little more value out of Ido's pressure and ability to kind of win versus Destiny. We are going to see Esperanza banned from ISU, which I don't think the Broncos are too hurt by that. I don't think that's crazy.
It's a pretty popular pick.
Yeah, that's a popular pick, but you also really dive or kind of those more mobile comps there.
And
so
it's also kind of a DPS heavy map too.
Yeah,
your Soj gets a lot of value on that map. And your flanks, exactly. You have a lot of routes to where your flankers, you can do 2-3 splits on it. So definitely an interesting ban. I mean, it tells a lot about Shikigami.
Yeah, as I say, that tells me what they're afraid of. All right,
yeah,
my tinfoil hat pick. My tinfoil hat pick is New Queen Street. Simply because I feel
you really think
that's the tinfoil hat pick. That's the tinfoil hat pick. I don't think that's coming, but maybe there's something where the Broncos think they can, win something on a crazy map like that.
Runasapi.
I'd say Runasapi would probably be that kind of a pick. I also wouldn't hate Coliseo. You do have moments where dive is really good, but it generally is a flat ground poundy map. It is a little bit more vertical, so it does lend to Arise's Genji, but I do kind of think that of what's left, Runasapi or Coliseo is probably the best choices.
I mean, they're looking to take a tank matchup, or at least what we think the best option is to try to lean into that tank matchup, where it does feel that's where Broncos have found their success, and it's just kind of, I mean, this could be something you know, we can tinfoil hat this till the cows come home. This could just be a map that they feel more confident on, that they have more success within scrims. There's really nothing more to it than that. You know,
Yeah.
it can be
Let's be real.
literally
Yeah.
that simple.
Yeah, let's be real. This is D2. These are the people that are fighting in for, you know, those top slots, the scholarships, you know, maybe even eyes on the OWCS for all we know. So we are playing. This is not Overwatch for fun. This is numbers game. But you know what? I don't blame them for that. You have to play the numbers. And, you know, it looks like we did go with Coliseo. And that by the numbers is also a fairly well-picked map. So this, again, kind of maybe leads to, all right, we want to play more ground poundy. We want to try to force maybe like a tank matchup, take away some of those good sight lines and flank angles, while also being a map that a lot of these teams scrim now that it's kind of fallen into more favor in the push realm.
We'll see how Broncos want to play this. I am expecting the Tracer Sojourn here. Tracer Sojourn is kind of your go-to DPS for this map. And we'll see if they can step up on this one. You know, whoever can win 2 fights in a row on Coliseo gets a massive advantage. This map is probably the least comebackable, to use an old term, of any of the push maps. You know, Ishbaranzu, you can see swing back in the final 2 minutes, and it's just like, whoa, where did that happen? You know, where did that come from? Happens more often than I can count. Coliseo, way harder to swing back a lead into, you know, if you get that first checkpoint early, it can be really tough to come back from that.
No changes in lineups. We have our 5, we have our 10. We're going to run them down. And like you said, it's going to come down to the map control because, like you said, with 2 fights kind of giving you that checkpoint and beyond, this is all things considered a fairly small map. So in a map like this where space control and map control is so important, I'm again looking at Arise and Fusion, who have been playing different flankers but really have been kind of, you know, dictating, and you know, what happens between them kind of ends up showing the bigger picture here. I actually don't think Arise may even, like, Arise may go to the Tracer. I actually wouldn't hate if they stuck the Genji.
I think they will, actually.
I would bet they will. I think they're like feeling pretty good on it, all things considered. So I'm going to talk about the Broncos for now because because the dive is interesting.
The Winston would be an interesting choice.
The Winston is a very interesting choice. Like I don't.
You're opting out of the tank matchup entirely.
Yeah. Like this is exactly the opposite of what we wanted them to do. They're opting instead into a dive, which we know that Shikigami has been very, like, that's essentially what they've been doing, is setting up the DPS. Jeff, I don't know about this one. I have some pain in my heart, and I really hope I'm wrong and that the Broncos know what their game plan is here. I really hope I'm wrong about what I've been thinking about this.
Arise does go into the Tracer, so despite them looking so damn good in that Genji, they are going to go into kind of what is the meta picks here. Both teams running out Tracer Soja as anticipated. Carter with those long sight lines. We'll see if Ado's able to cover the gap. I feel like Destiny can just walk forward freely. Aside from some damage from Boto, that is the one thing you got to be careful of, is not taking too much poke. Then Ado would just pounce. But here comes Ado with the move. Fusion trying to make it into the back line. Recall forced out very early by Arise. And Plutonic gets punished on the approach. Now sheepishly trying to back away. Jaded just gets absolutely cut down. Easy pickings there for Arise and the Genji.
Yeah, this is where I'm kind of, I look at this comp and I think it's on the right track. I do think Platonic should be on the Lucio if we're going to do this. Like, if we're going to abandon the dive, that's fine. Yeah, if we're going to abandon the dive, that's fine. Because, like, you can't just let the Winston and Tracer go in on their own. Like, the Brig assumes there's a counter dive. There's not a counter dive. So we're going to go and take the mirror. Sure, it hasn't really worked, but this is probably your best case. I respect it. Oh, there's a pulse bomb already from Rise? Excuse me, what?
Fast.
Wait, I didn't even realize that. Holy.
I almost got it. If that stick had landed, this could just be Shikigami's map. Yeah, I mean, that's that first checkpoint I was talking about. That creates the insurmountable odds. But fortunately for Bronco, they're able to sidestep it, albeit narrowly. Still not out of harm's way. As Arise is diving in onto that back line. Good whip shot from Platonic, is staying neck and neck, or staying shoulder to shoulder, with Jaded. Kind of protecting each other. But it does mean Broncos are not really able to push into this archway.
No, Shikigami U is literally controlling all the space. You can see it by Arise just getting in everywhere they want, peppering those damage from the high ground and forcing the looks back. But Ido is winning. Again, goes forward, wins the fight there, and that's how they win these fights, Jeff.
Yeah, Carter, consciously
Well.
opted to look around and try to get a trade, and it's Destiny who actually comes up with that trade. Now with an Annihilation ready to go, there's no
Well.
Mega from Platonic. We already picked that up. Ado is extremely low on the bot, and Shikigami is going to end up winning the second fight.
Well, initially good first pick there, and Arise now onto their second Pulse Bomb. I mean, that tells you probably how much damage they're really putting out here. Supports are coming online as well, and with the Annihilation already used from Destiny, it does give the advantage to the Broncos here. They just have a little bit more firepower, but Arise is primed to open this up, and if this hits, it's over.
No checkpoint picked up. Important recontest.
No way!
Oh!
Are you kidding?
Tosses it on the ground and it still gets 2. That's not supposed to happen. What did I just see? Arise, you monster.
That's crazy.
South Korean
That's
superstar
crazy.
here on ISU Shikigami U.
That's crazy, Jeff. Arise just owns this lobby. That's insane. That's admin. That's just admin privileges right there. That shouldn't hit. All right, Broncos, come on. We got this. There's Annihilation. We have Rails. We have a Rally. Surely we win this. Surely we put our foot down.
Never mind the paper. Like this is. I just want to see some grit. Like Bronco
Yeah.
they need to make this happen. They need to move forward, create a kill. They're playing nice and aggressive. I like this. They're not playing scared on this reapproach. They take the bot back and Bodo
okay, there we go.
delivers.
There we go. I was actually going to say, like, I really wish Plutonic was checking a little bit more for Arise. Like, that's kind of your one job on Brig is to make sure you can always keep an eye on the Tracer in that regard if you don't have something like a Cassidy. So, not to put blame, but I do think that we can kind of see why Arise is getting away with so much.
Whereas on the other side, we see Carter's got a head on a swivel.
Yeah,
He's not
Carter's
even
looking.
Wow. Immediately hits Carter. What a predictive
Wow.
shot. That was nasty.
That was gross. I love that.
Carter lucky to get out of that one in one piece.
Yeah. And Arise is still, again, behind this Broncos squad, just constantly pincering them.
Rally now up from ISU Shikigami.
Pulse spot. Oh,
Pulse ball. Nowhere to go.
no.
Bono, once again, the ground pulls gets paid dirt. We're digging for oil here, and Arise has got black
Jeez.
gold in spades. Annihilation now up from Bronco in a desperate attempt, it feels like, to retake this corner. Already down in this fight. Ado unusually low in the tank matchup, and Destiny's going to batter through them. Mega was picked up, and eventually Ado is brought down. Felled by the Annihilation. Trades on the board from Bronco. It's messy. I don't know if they've got a foothold. Yeah, maybe with some respawns.
5 minutes. There's a chance, but I mean, again, we kind of assumed that the DPS were going to be running these fights, and Arise has it's been Arise's playground. Like, there has been nothing stopping Arise from getting everything they want and more. It doesn't matter if they stick pulse bombs, miss pulse bombs, they get everything they want. This is just Arise's world, and regardless of the major perks we're coming into soon, we are all just living in it.
I mean, Arise is averaging 75-second pulse bombs here.
Yeah.
Like, it's just been
On cooldown.
nutty. And is about to get another one.
Yeah, already.
Does have fusion. Puts pressure on and blinks out into a shot from Bodo. So, really good recognition there. Bronco focused down the Arise threat before they can build up that fourth pulse bomb. Annihilation thrown in from ISU, and they've been able to strike back, though, giving themselves a +1/+2 on the back of this OC from Carter.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other problem with this Shinkigami squad, right? Like, Arise is the monster on the field, but when Arise goes quiet, Carter immediately steps up to fill that gap. And that is what makes this number 4 Shinkigami squad so dangerous. They are just a threat on every level. Broncos still have a fighting chance here. Fusion has a pulse bomb. There's a orbital ray coming up here. There's a chance, but they need to make sure this ray gets value, Jeff. Otherwise, Shinkigami likely to close this out.
And Arise, fortunately for Bronco, does not get a 2K on this one. Fusion actually lands their pulse. Kills onto the support line, means Shikigami do not have any sustain. And a much-needed fight win here out of Bronco. They'll get TS1 marching back the other direction here. Still a little bit of cleanup. Arise is still alive and well.
Why is Arise still alive, Jeff? Please. Somebody focus this man out.
There's no Mega. Recalls
Somebody
it
focus this man out. He should not be allowed to live there.
Actually made it back to the other
He
Mega.
got into a pack. How did he live?
Arise is going to be right back into this fight. I'm surprised. I mean, just give it 10 seconds. We'll have another pulse ball, too. OC up from Bodo. Rise on the hunt, but You got an annihilation there. Kept a Rise on the outskirts of that fight for a little too long, and Bronco managed to put together another fight win here. That's 2 fight wins in a row, 0 deaths onto a Rise.
Okay. Please hunt a Rise out. Please hunt him down.
They've got a
You've let
2v1 on a Rise and still
you've let this man just live in your backline. I don't like that has literally been half of your problem is you are not completing the kill, and Arise is just running.
out!
He's breaking ankles right now. He is absolutely just
ridiculous.
flexing. He is flexing on this team right now,
He's
Jeff.
a tour of every health pack
Yeah.
on this map.
He is just flexing. This is a flex right now, Jeff. This is nothing. There's not a match of Overwatch going. There's just Arise running around the map.
My jaw's on the floor.
Yeah,
This is
No way.
I mean, Carter just shrugged that pulse bomb.
Yeah.
Okay,
Jeez.
okay. Jaden did find some redemption here for Bronco. We still have 2 minutes left to go here.
Please
Please,
get the
no
kill.
means Shikigami's map, and Bodo finally able to end the agony of Rise.
Oh, Agony was laughing there, Jeff. Agony was having a blast running around the map and leading Fusion on a wild goose chase. But in the meantime, the Broncos did get it almost 250 and almost to a checkpoint. Like we kind of alluded to earlier, this is a smaller map, so now it's kind of up to the rest of Shikigami to really kind of close this out because the Broncos are swinging it their way, even though Arise is just kidnapping the bot.
And we're gone.
He's just, we're gone. It's over.
Yep. Thief.
And
in
it
the
doesn't
night. They
matter.
have no idea. They have
They
no idea.
They are not. Yeah, they're so focused on winning the fight, they have no clue.
Okay,
Finally,
there's the call. Bodo
That's a
respawned.
respawn.
Yeah, Bodo respawned and made the call.
That's wild, Jeff. That's so wild.
And Rise even throws a pulse bomb out somewhere in the midst of that. Obviously, it didn't land. I mean, Fusion just gives up on this. Fusion's like, no, I gotta go. I'm gonna go help my tank, which ends up being the right call. They're able to find a kill on a Doctor
Yeah.
Death. Orbital Ray on to the point here from Shikigami, but it's still not gonna be enough. Great annihilation. We're gonna see Broncos dig deep and pull out a fight win. The Rise still alive.
Please, we have to complete the kill when the fight's won, though. We have to complete the kill. Because the Broncos they're doing the right thing. They're acknowledging that Arise is just often in their own game, and they're winning the 5v4. That's the right thing to do. But when Arise pokes his head out, you have to kill him. You cannot let him just do this rabbit game here.
That's Bodo up there, right? Okay, Bodo knows
Yeah, that's
he's
Bodo's
there.
waiting. Yeah.
I mean, you're keeping the Soja out of this. This is ridiculous. That means it's just Fusion to try to help Edo up front. You've got Carter there, and Rise wins the duel. Nasty stuff. MVP performance here from Arise on map 3.
Yeah.
What a joy it has been to watch this player just show off here on Coliseum. And last ditch, Orbital Ray, a couple of ults available here for Bronco. Remember, Boto not in this fight to use this overclock. There is also a rally and an annihilation in play from ISU Shikigami University here to close out this 3-0, and they will indeed win this upper bracket quarterfinal.
And Bodo almost back to spawn immediately, but man, that was that was very convincing from our number.
I don't know, I was taking
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
this
is
is how
that
you
is
play
convincing.
Tracer.
Yeah, that was convincing because like there is just nothing more you can say when you have several members of the team just kind of chasing a Tracer around the map and kind of not even acknowledging that the point's moving. You know you're doing your job perfectly. That's exactly what you need your Tracer player to be doing, is just being an absolute menace in the back line, making sure that people can't respawn, making sure that they are getting picks, and there's just somebody always checking to them. That is a tough lesson that the Broncos had to learn in this match, unfortunately.
I mean, you can't push forward. There's always that itch of a Rise is lurking just to pounce and drop a 2K pulse on you at any moment. Like, it's so hard to execute a plan when the entire time there's just this thorn in your side named Arise. And I thought, we saw the proficiency of the Genji here on Kings, and it made me think, okay, I think Arise is really just going to stick with this Genji. Like, they look so good on it. Could bounce on the high ground there on Coliseum. Sir, it turns out they were saving their secret weapon for that map 3, and really their final form was that Tracer. My goodness.
Oh, yeah. And considering we were, applauding Fusion for their Tracer play earlier on, which, don't get it twisted, Fusion was playing incredibly well. I mean, Arise, if you saw that chase and you see these pulse bombs, Arise was just a different level. Just somewhere through the middle of that was just absolutely winning that duel and making Fusion just work for every inch and mile. The Shinkigami U squad, say what you will, their DPS line is no joke. Rise and Carter absolutely know how to win this game.
The quick volley of headshots with the crouch in there to avoid the railgun shot. Like, that was
wild.
That was some OWCS movement we were seeing out of Rise there on that Tracer. That's that's all the little things are pre-programmed. That you're not thinking at that point. Like that is pure
that's reflex.
That's pure instinct and reflex from Arise. That is years of practice and dedication we were seeing performed for us there. And that little 10-minute segment was the culmination of years of hard work. Like that movement was so good. That was a lot of fun to watch.
That was a good match. Unfortunately for the Broncos, they go down, but not out. They will have a loser's bracket to play into, while Shinkigami U will go on to play. And both teams definitely feeling some mixed emotions on that. But I've got mixed emotions, Jeff, because our incredible night of Overwatch is over.
I know. I've enjoyed it so much, but it is, in fact, time to say goodbye. We do appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We will have more nationals going on all week long for all the titles here for NECC, including, being back next week here. And then, as previously mentioned, we'll have all those D1 nationals taking place in San Antonio. So keep an eye out. All done in LAN. It's going to be so awesome. It's going to be so exciting. I cannot wait. But until then, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. Big shout out and thank you to our friends over at G Fuel and Winslow Farms for their help. Couldn't do it without them. But that is it for Jeff, Sam, and we got Rachel and Hippie behind the scenes. All of us here at NECC. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see you next week for more nationals. Bye, friends.